Crossings Christian and one of our buses broke down and we had to wait for a bus to be sent to us, but the good thing is that we got to be excused from first hour. I think Luis will win Homecoming King and Maddie will win Homecoming Queen.
Hello, my name is Hunter Harrison. I am representing the football team. I am involved in pep club, FCA, soccer, football, the Boomer mentorship program. My favorite memory would definitely be just bus rides home with all my friends, all my boys, in any sport and anything. I think Luis will be king and I think Zamara will be queen.
Hi, my name is Madison Green and the organization I'm representing today is the Boomer Dance Team. I am Sub-Deb's Vice President and I control social media pages for FCA, and I'm also involved in NHS. My favorite Boomer memory would probably have to be winning nationals my sophomore year with dance team, and I think Zamara is going to win Homecoming Queen, and I think Luis is going to win Homecoming King.
My name is Sam Cheap. I am representing the football team. I am involved in the football, basketball, track, FCA, NHS, and pep club. And my favorite Boomer memory is high jump at the state track meet. And I think Zamara is going to win Homecoming Queen and Luis is going to win the King.
Hi, I'm Ava Long and I'm with Boomer Football Managing.
Hi, I'm Luis Corral and I'm with the Boomer football team.
The activities that I'm involved with are NHS, FCA, SCCLA, Pep Club, and then I play soccer and powerlift.
And I am with the football team, basketball team, powerlifting, and FCA and the Pep Club.
My favorite Boomer memory would have to be managing the football team.
And my favorite Boomer memory would have to be beating Bethany last year in our homecoming.
I think Luis will win King this year in Homecoming.
I think Sam will win King this year.
And then I think Zamara will win Queen.
And I also think Samara will win Queen.
I'm Samar Marquez and I am representing the student athletic trainers on the homecoming court. I'm of course a student athletic trainer for the football team. I'm currently serving as senior class vice president as well as student council vice president. I'm in National Honor Society, Sub-Debs, and Cultural. On the homecoming court. I'm of course a student athletic trainer for the football team. I'm currently serving as senior class vice president as well as student council vice president. I'm in National Honor Society, Sub-Debs, and Cultural Exchange Club. My favorite Boomer memory has to be when we played Crossings Christian and one of our buses broke down and we had to wait for a bus to be sent to us, but the good thing is that we got to be excused from first hour. I think Luis will win Homecoming King and Maddie will win Homecoming Queen.
Hello, my name is Hunter Harrison. I am representing the football team. I am involved in pep club, FCA, soccer, football, the Boomer mentorship program. My favorite memory would definitely be just bus rides home with all my friends, all my boys, in any sport and anything. I think Luis will be king and I think Zamara will be queen.
Hi, my name is Madison Green, and the organization I'm representing today is the dance team. I am sub-debs vice president, and I control social media pages for FCA, and I'm also involved in NHS. My favorite Boomer memory would probably have to be winning nationals my sophomore year with dance team, and I think Samara is going to win Homecoming Queen, and I think Luis is going to win Homecoming King.
My name is Sam Sheep. I am representing the football team. I am involved in the football, basketball, track, FCA, NHS, and Pep Club. And my favorite Boomer memory is high jump at the state track meet. And I think Zamara is going to win Homecoming Queen, and Luis is going to win the King.
Hi, I'm Ava Long, and I'm with Boomer Football Managing.
Hi, I'm Luis Corral, and I'm with the Boomer football team.
The activities that I'm involved with are NHS, FCA, FCCLA, Pep Club, and then I play soccer and powerlift.
And I am with the football team, basketball team, powerlifting, and FCA and the Pep Club.
My favorite Boomer memory would have to be managing the football team.
And my favorite Boomer memory would have to be beating Bethany last year in our homecoming.
I think Luis will win King this year in Homecoming.
I think Sam will win King this year.
And then I think Zamara will win Queen.
And I also think Samara will win Queen.
Yeah, and that's really tested them. I know I talked with kind of the opposing play-by-play guy, if you will, and that's what they said. They took some lessons from that, and especially last week in Elgin, similar to the Boomers, where big plays got them. So they're trying to clamp down on some of that stuff and stick with it themselves and be able to answer some big plays from the opposing team. And welcome everybody to Boomer Stadium. It's homecoming here on a beautiful late September night. Tyler Reese, Dakota Wagner, Eric Scott with you on Z92 and BoomerTV.net. And before we get too far into pregame festivities here on our end, homecoming going on right now. So let me turn it over there to Troy Harley and his announced PA-manship to be able to hear that.
describes his senior year as going by fast. Ladies and gentlemen, Madison Green and Hunter Harrison. Cougar Homecoming Queen candidate, Ava Long. Ava is escorted tonight by Louise Corral. Ava is the daughter of Chris and Kim Long. Her favorite high school memory is being at the school with her brother, who is her best friend. When asked if she played football, what position she would play, she said, Coach Shepard told me I'd be a hard-hitting safety because I'd be the most aggressive on the field. Ava's 3 words that describe her senior year are, one hot mess. Luis is the son of Jose and Leticia Corral. His favorite high school memory is team camp in Mustang with the football fellas his junior year. And his biggest pet peeve is people blowing their nose excessively loud. Louise describes his senior year as lightweight, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, Ava Long and Louise Corral. Olivia Fluid. Olivia is the daughter of Joshua and Samantha Fluid. She is 4 and is in pre-K at the ECC. Her favorite movies are princess movies. Olivia's favorite thing to do at school is coloring and art, which is also her favorite thing to do at home. She is also loves to dance at the Woodward Studio of Dance. Ladies and gentlemen, Olivia Fluid. Axel Manning Long. Axel is the son of Chris and Kim Long. He is 8 years old and is in the 2nd grade at Cedar Heights. His favorite movie is Bad Guys. Axel's favorite thing to do at school is PE, and his favorite thing to do at home is play with his brother, Abe. Ladies and gentlemen, Axel Manning Long. Drayden Nelson. Drayden is the son of Lori Beth and Cody Watley and Andre Nelson. He is 7 years old and is in the 2nd grade at Highland Park. His favorite movie is Minions: Rise of Gru. Drayden's favorite thing to do at school is recess and gym. And his favorite thing to do at home
right, so there you go. If you're joining us now live, you've just heard it. Ava Long and Hunter Harrison, your king and queen of homecoming, did these festivities right before the game, fellas, and some good stuff there. Congrats to Hunter and Ava. Dakota, two people you know pretty well.
Yes, went to school with them, and great kids.
Great kids for sure. Well deserved for both of them. But welcome into Boomer Stadium as we have got Cash here for homecoming opening district play in 4A for the Boomers. Of course, Woodward comes in 0-3, but let's talk a little bit about Cash and get to know them here just a bit. Dakota coming in 1-2 on the season, not ranked by the AP of their Oklahoma last season. 2-8 this team, full of juniors and seniors, and a team that's still trying to find some consistency of their own. Farron Griffin entering his 6th season as the Bulldogs head coach, 29-27 record thus far. Griffin is a Cash native and came back after spending time at Walters as the head coach. So kind of a man that's familiar with the program and looking to be able to keep them rolling. Gendler's been a pretty good program, and bringing Eric here on the sideline for us as usual. And Eric, in the past, Cash, like I said, been a good program, been a really good wrestling program as well. So it's kind of interesting to see them struggling a little bit football-wise the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. They're always a very physical bunch, but it's always interesting to see how a trip like that from Cash to Woodward, vice versa, when we got to go down there, how much that affects the legs of the players. And, it just takes a little bit longer to get into game mode and get focused, but, Cash is a well-coached team. And like, CJ talked in the Friday Night Quiz Scores side over there that, they played some good teams, but so at the Boomers. So it'll be interesting to see how tonight goes for both teams.
Yeah, Dakota, really a chance for both teams, as Eric's saying down there, just to kind of prove your mettle here and a chance to make a statement in district play to open things.
I mean, that's what I was going to say. If the start of district playoffs, or not district playoffs, but district play, district play, Boomers got to come out here and fight. It's not going to be a handed give them to them, right. So they got to fight for it, and with homecoming, a lot of momentum, a lot of confidence, a lot of pride, and got to use it.
Got the sport behind them. It got kind of an uplifting moment here earlier today as well. And Eric, I saw this because you shared it on Facebook. Dakota Zamarco, we knew he was released earlier this week from the rehab center. He made an appearance at the pep rally. They introduced him, and boy, what an uplifting moment to see Dakota be able to walk through the doors there in Boomer Fieldhouse and get those seniors and the rest of the kids going. So playing with a lot of momentum here tonight. Hopefully being able to use that to take care of business and defend home field. With that said, though, we are under 20 minutes till kickoff. So let's step aside, take a break, and on the other side, you'll hear some thoughts from Coach Luchin as well as seniors Elise Corral and Lucas Shirky from this past Monday's Coaches Show on last week's game and the matchup tonight with Cash. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92. got Tyler Riggs with you as we just finished up the national anthem there coming out of the break. And guys, so you heard from Coach Luchin there, of course, talking about the speed of Cash. We talked about the size of Cash. And I think we really got to start with this 305, 350. It's going to be the, for me at least, the spotlight. Kenneth Wormy, the senior end and tackle. He's their left tackle as well as the left defensive end. This guy, 6'6", 305, has gotten some offers, Division I and Division II. He's got an offer from University of Central Arkansas. And yeah, so he is a load. And then of course, athletically, their guy to watch is going to be Tyler Miles. He's a middle linebacker. He's a receiver. He's played quarterback for him, a senior. He'll move around, and they'll move him all over the field in terms of just trying to get looks for this guy in that jet motion that Coach Luchin was talking about, and just a lot of areas. And really outside of that, kind of some improvements with this team. Tyler Harbin, a junior quarterback, 5'10", 160 for Cash. That is a good athlete, but, you know, some will say he's a bit undersized of that. And, you know, the rest of that line, they do have a couple seniors, but maybe a bit more unproven. So definitely some spots to be able to take advantage of for the Boomers there. And, guys, let's kind of talk about some of the, you know, last week have been some of the keys to the game. And Eric, I think, you know, you had the best view of it down there for sure all game long. Scheme-wise, Woodward had plenty of opportunities to convert some drives, get some drives extended, and they just didn't come up on them. And Coach Luchin, of course, said that was a focal point this week with those receivers to make sure they're hauling in those catches and completing that, because Sam Cheap was throwing some good footballs.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about it throughout the broadcast last week. You know, we left a lot of first downs on the field last week. Dropped balls, not converting, missing a block, things like that. That's something the Boomers have got to continue to clean up. But like we've heard multiple times already today, it's really a new season. Okay, now is a perfect time for those things that they've been watching on film all week.
Sees a bunch of guys, you know, coming one way, he'll find that open spot and try to fight for those extra yards. Very good job like he did last week against Newcastle. You know, he found that rhythm. Got to score a touchdown, I believe, or that was here. But he
almost got it.
Almost, and then punched it in. And, you know, just this team has come a long way, and it's now or, you know, never, you know, to start districts, and better way to start it than at homecoming with all the fans here.
Yeah, you can't beat that. And Eric, you've been a coach, you know, through this situation we're talking about with CJ. Yes, it's hard to keep your kids maybe focused at times, but at the same time, they get really excited. That home atmosphere and the homecoming atmosphere especially gives them a big boost. Homecoming atmosphere especially gives them a big boost, right?
Well, absolutely. As a coach, you know, homecoming is really annoying. There's so much pomp and pageantry that goes along with it. You know, it takes you out of your pregame, but it's also a part of the experience of being a student athlete. You know, Woodward's one of those blessed communities, schools that does both football and basketball. You know, so some of these kids, by the time they get to basketball, they know how to handle it. But, hey, you know, I'm just going to interrupt real quick. It's great to see what's about to go on out on the field right now.
Yeah, what we got here?
We got Dakota.
We mentioned this with CJ, Dakota Marco, who we had known got released from the rehabilitation center earlier this week. They didn't know if he'd be able to kind of come back in for homecoming festivities, and he is out here, folks, as one of the captains tonight. Everybody standing up right now. Give him a big round of applause. Just what a fantastic sight to see. He's got his friends out there with him. Sam Cheap, Luis Corral, Tan Laird, Ethan Matt, and Hunter Harrison. And now Matt and Harrison fading off. So special moment here to see Dakota to be able to walk out to midfield. As we're getting the coin toss now. So we'll keep up to date on that. And just, again, I mean, everybody's still standing in the crowd. As they should.
And I think there's probably a lot of tears. I got chills. You know,
yeah,
I'm just
me too, Eric. I've get them up here. It's a sight. Still got that neck brace. Obviously, still has a ways to go in his rehabilitation, but the spirit and the fight he's shown has really. I know in talking with guys, me and you, Dakota, both have heard from them their testimony of just how incredible it's been to see that and kind of give them that boost. And Thousand Hills Ranch Church, the Quarter Lounge, did a couple benefit events for him this past weekend. And a lot of those guys were out there football team wise and just talked to them there in person, and they were just struck by what he's been able to do in such a little time. So we'll see how this coin toss goes real quick. As we got that, and I think teams will be able to come out of their respective tunnels, if you will.
Yeah, I'd never.
Lost you there for a second.
We were doing good. There we go. If anybody's on Facebook, look at the Woodward High School Facebook
Yes.
page. There's an awesome video where he is kind of out there, walks out, and with all the seniors on the floor at the pep assembly today.
Woodward won the toss. Looks like they will defer, and so that means Newcastle. I'm stuck on last week. Cash going to get the option to kick or receive. Or see how they go here. Third. It looks like maybe going to start with the ball is Cash. They will. So Cash going to start with that ball. And it'll be the Woodward defense on top to start things. And guys, we saw them last week, of course, do some very, very good things in that first half. We'll see if they could get it going again here. But let's step aside right now while we can for one final break. And on the other side, we'll have your starters and your opening kickoff. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92. I can be quiet when that's okay. So I'm gonna try to play. So I think it's still okay. I just can't hear. And welcome back here to Boomer Stadium. Dakota White and Eric Scott, Tyler Riggs with you as we are getting ready for kickoff. As both teams just came out of tunnel there. I do want to mention too, of course, Boomer TV, boomertv.net. Go watch the stream there, and we got the audio over it right now, so we're getting the best of both worlds, taking all of homecoming. Please go check that out. Let's get to the starters for both teams, and here starting with Cash. On the offensive line, they'll have left tackle senior Kenneth Wormy listed at 6'6", 305. Junior Ruben Cable at 5'10", 265. At center, it will be Joseph Rendiah Brown, 6'4", 300 pounds. The senior right guard will be 5'10", 220-pound junior Jacob Hudson. At right tackle will be Brandon Price, the 5'10", 225-pound senior. Quarterback, it will be Tyler Harbin taking the snaps for the Bulldogs, 5'10", 160 as a junior. And then also might see some Tyler Miles, who's QB2 and receiver as well, 6'2", 180-pound senior there. Running back Connor Muldowney, the junior, 6', 190-pound running back. And at the receiver spots as well, Kenyon Hayes and Braden Castro, a junior and a senior, both listed right about 5'10", 170 there. And at tight end, Jalen Mayu, senior, 6', 200 pounds. That's Cash offense. Cash defensively, it is going to go the big down three linemen we talked about, Kenneth Wormy, Marshall Blaine, and Joseph Rendiah Brown. And then at the middle linebacker spots, well, getting towards kickoff. So we'll come back to that as we get to it and talk about the stars as we go. But homecoming 2022 getting ready to get underway on the football game side of it as the Boomers are lined up, set to kick this one off. Cash going to receive it to start here. Back there is Ace Long lined up, ready to get this one underway. There's the whistle. He'll begin his jog and puts boot into it. That was actually not Ace Long. That was Lucas Shirky, excuse me. Short kick there to the 20, fielded. Return now a little bit by Jamarcus Tisdale, and he gets it up across the 40 to nearly the 45. And we'll see where they spot it. Cash going to start out with some decent field position here and their first offensive possession.
Tyler, the weather down here is awesome right now. It's it's been hot all day. We were talking about it's the hottest spot in the state. you know, but now it's starting to drop a little bit. It's cooling down. We got a little bit of cloud cover over, a little bit of a breeze. It feels great for Friday night.
And, you know, I think it was supposed to get down there, if I'm not mistaken, to about 63-ish tonight. So hopefully it cools off quick for sure, as you're talking about there. So Cache starting on their own 43, straight on the first snap here, up the gut. It is going to be the quarterback right there, Tyler Harbin, trying to take it a couple yards and maybe just gets one. You saw that motion across the formation, guys, and trying to get that triple option look. And a good job there, at least on first down, by the Boomers to plug it up.
And it's going to be the man we talk about most of the season, Kason Bourne on the tackle there, Tyler.
Good tackle for sure by Bourne. Second down and 9 from the 44. Harbin under center again, trips to the near, one to the far, man in far in motion. He'll get the handoff. It's Braden Castro around the edge. He's got the edge across the 50, out to the 45 into Boomer territory, down inside the 45 to about the 43. That's going to be a first down for Cache. And guys, we talked about that speed. You heard Coach Lucha talk about it in the pregame. You got to be ready to handle that speed off the edge.
Yeah, it's going to be Mason Boring this time, coming off for the tackle there.
You know, it's not just the speed, but one thing the Boomers have struggled all year is when the ball's in the backfield in a handoff situation, finding the ball.
And now snap, first down, handoff again on the motion. It's Castro again, but he's plugged up. Boomer defense on it. Excuse me, that was not Castro, but again, Boomer defense on top of it. That was Kyrie Coleman on the carry there.
And the defense kind of just read that one like a book. Carson Medina bringing him down.
So we'll set up a 2nd and 10 here for Cache for the Boomer 42. Harbin going to be under center. 2 receivers each side, one in the backfield. Man in motion is Coleman. He doesn't get the hand off. They're looking to pass. They're taking the deep shot. Man open. He's overthrown. It's incomplete. Was going for Braden Castro, who had just got behind the Boomer secondary by a step. But the pass too far by Harbin. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 10 for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that was definitely a scary moment for the Boomer. If he would have completed that, that may have been 6. But that's kind of what that run game does is, you know, you're kind of going to multiple different guys out of the backfield, and you're handing it off right behind the line of scrimmage multiple times, and all of a sudden you step back and dump it over the top.
And Coach Lucha preached discipline watching that over the top. 3rd and 10 for the Bulldogs. Under center Harbin. Man in motion, hands off inside to Muldowney. He's got a gap, going to scamper across the 35, get down right near that marker. I think he's got the first down, and he does. Just gets enough, getting to the 32-yard line. So on 3rd down, Cache able to get 11 and the first down.
And Cache kind of has an old school look that they're not in the pistol or shotgun. You know, they start a lot of times underneath the underneath center. You know, they got guys coming from all different directions.
Now in tight here on 1st and 10. Man in motion, Harbin under center, hand off again to Muldowney though. He's through across the 30 into the almost about the 27, 28 is where they'll stop him. So another quick gain of about 5 or 6 right there for the Bulldogs. And yeah, Eric, it is just kind of old school look. They'd shown a lot more shotgun the first few weeks on film, so I'm kind of surprised to see the under center look here more so today. This will be 2nd down and 6, they'll call it. Harbin going to be under center. 2 receivers to one side, one to the far. Now man in motion across the far side. Boomers almost jumped, or did they get the flag? Oh, it's going to be a false start against Cache, it looks like.
Yeah, I think when the Boomers shifted, it caused one of the Cache guys to jump a little bit.
So he raced that gain by Muldowney there on 1st down. Now it's going to back up Cache for a 2nd and 11 here from about the, looks like 33-yard line there. Harbin under center, man in motion, it's Coleman. Oh, handoff, ball's on the ground though, and Coleman falls right on top of it. A bit of a miss up on the exchange. And all of a sudden now it's going to be a 3rd and long for Cache here inside Boomer territory. About a 3rd. It's going to back them up behind the 35 to the 36. They've got to get up to the 22, so got about nearly a 3rd and 15 here.
Credit Kason Bourne on that fumble. Almost got in there, recognizing on the ground.
3rd and 15, snap, handoff to Miles, and way in the backfield. Who else? It is Josiah Beza, I believe, on that
Yes,
tackle.
you know, fills in for Manuel and gets the job done.
Got a flag on the play.
Oh.
Flag for now, it's a big loss.
I think it might be a sideline warning.
It is a sideline warning against Woodward. Get a little hyped up. So will that repeat the down or still stay 4th down here? It should stay 4th if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, that's one of those that, you know, the flag goes out, but it's only that one.
Right, only that warning. Next time it would be a penalty at that point.
Yeah, I believe it goes down as an unsportsmanlike for the coach, I believe, is what it goes down as.
So the Boomers going to force a punt here. 4th and 18 for Cash. Back to kick this one is Drake Jones. Back to receive is Taylor Laird. We'll see if he gets a shot or not. Jones has a decent foot. Puts that one up in the air, a little spiler, and sure enough, it's going to go over Laird's head, but for a touchback. So the Boomers going to get to start at their own 20-yard line for their first offensive possession. And guys, successful there defensively. Gave up a little yards, but you capitalized on Cash's mistakes, essentially. Now he gets the ball back.
Yeah, had to make him work for it there, Tyler, and that's what we like to see for our Boomer defense. Up front, you know, the O-line was looking pretty strong for Cash there.
Yeah, they've got some of that size we talked about. Kenneth Wormy, a legitimate defense or a D1 tackle out there for Cash. And I don't see how the Boomers handle this huge 3-man front by the Bulldogs. It'll be Sam Cheap in the gun, 1st and 10 from his own 20. He's got trips to the air, one to the far is Laird, and Long in the backfield with him. Now man in motion goes Mason Bourne across the formation. Snap, a little quick pitch out to Long on the edge. He's going to get across the 20 up to the 25, and that's where it'll be brought down. So a nice little 5-yard run to start, guys. And as some Coach Luchin was talking about, using the speed that they believe they have this week against Cash to get to the edges.
Yeah, and that's also kind of what we were talking about last week as well with Newcastle was, you know, using that speed, you know, but picking up 5-6 yards on first down, that's okay. You know, as long as you're able to convert, you don't need the big play every time.
Right. Just stay ahead of schedule. That's what it comes down to. 2nd and 5 here for the Boomers from their own 25. Cheap going to be under center, Long in the backfield, 2 to near, 1 to the far is Cheap. Man in motion goes Mason Bourne from the near side. Now a snap, hand off to Long, up the gut. He's going to plow forward, put the head down, trying to fight forward for another 5 yards. Gets about 3, maybe 4 out of it. It's going to bring up a 3rd and short for the Boomers. Another hard run, though, by Long, and it took just about the entire Cash defense to tackle him to go.
And you got to give credit to Mason Boring. You know, he took a hard hit for some guy that I think probably outweighed him by at least 100 pounds and gave Ace the edge to run.
So good lead block there by Mr. Boring. 3rd and 1 for the Boomers here. 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Still scoreless. First drive for Woodward offensively. It's going to be Cheap under center, Long in the backfield. 2 to the near, 1 to the far. Got a tight end and loose corral as well on the far side. Now man in motion goes Carson Medina. Snap, hand off to Ace Long. A little bit of a stop cut. I don't know if he quite got to the first down. He got back maybe to the line of scrimmage, guys. And he does. So stuck at the 29. The Boomers need to get across the 30. And it's going to be a 4th and 1 here for Woodward. They moved up a couple inches. It's close to that 30, but not quite.
It's decision time. It looks like maybe.
Bring in Moose. I think we're going to bring in Moose.
Bringing in the beef, it looks like.
We're going to try to push it forward.
That's what I like to see. I'm always cheering on for Moose to get out there and get the ball in his hands.
Hey, I'll just also say, so, you know, watching Ace from week 2 when I first got to watch a game to now, he is definitely much more comfortable following his blockers.
And in tight here on 4th and 1, Cheap. He's going to take himself, try to stretch across the 30. I don't know if he got it. It depends on the spot here. It is tight because he tried to reach that ball out and get some forward progress, it looks like. Had the big guys behind him to try to push him forward. We'll see where they spot it.
I think they're going to come down to
this.
He ended up on the other side, so.
The nose of that ball is right on the 30.
And first down.
And not even a measurement. First down.
I will say it looked like to me the ball, he was able to reach the ball across and then got knocked back just a little bit. And I think the refs recognized that.
And good call by the refs there to recognize the forward progress. That can be tough to spot, Eric, a lot of times, especially when you see that type of formation. That's just a mass of bodies down.
Absolutely, you know. But then there's always the scary moment of that ball getting slapped away. So.
Absolutely, yeah. When you reach it out across, you got to be careful. So first down 10 for the Boomers at the 30. Cheap in the gun, 3 to the far side, 1 to the air. Cheap going to take it, roll out to that far side, looking to pass. Throws it, has a man open, and it's Mason Bourne, but he drops it. And that'll be 2nd and 10. Guys, we don't want to see that. Another open play right there. You got to haul those in.
You know, we talked about that last week on them dropping passes 4 or 5 against Newcastle. So hopefully we can kind of get to the rhythm of catching some balls and getting some first downs.
It's just right there. Mason Bourne catches that.
Yeah.
He's turning and running for another 3 or 4 yards. That'd be close to a first down.
Yeah.
So 2nd and 10 for the Boomers. 5:28 to go in the first quarter. At their own 30, trying to drive. Cheap going to be in the gun, Long with him in the backfield. 3 to the near, 1 to the far. The far is Laird. Snap taken by Cheap. He's dropping back to pass. Service in the field. He's going to fire. Has a man open. This time it's Mason Bourne caught across the 50 to the 45 into Cash territory.
As good as the hookup between Cheap and Laird was, hey, let's talk about the offensive line there. They held their own and gave Cheap the opportunity to make that pass.
Way to have some confidence, from Mason Bourne to get back out there after a drop pass.
Immediately after the coaching staff to call that play up. So 1st and 10 for the Boomers at the Cash 41. Cheap under center, long in the backfield, 2 to the far, 1 to the near. In motion goes Bourne across formation from the far side. Snap, handoff inside along, got a bit of a hole. Gets across the 40, makes man miss, makes another miss. 35, still going, 30, 25, and he's tackled down finally inside the 25 to about the 22, and a big run there from the freshman.
All gas, no brakes.
19 yards, so back-to-back plays. The Boomers go big here.
That's one thing Ace does really well is he keeps his feet moving no matter what, and that's what kept him up throughout that run. He got hit pretty good 3 or 4 times.
And just kept that balance like you talked about, Eric. For a freshman to have that, that's a scary ability. So 1st and 10 now for the Boomers at the Cash 22. Cheap in the gun, 3 to the far side, 1 to near, long in the backfield. In motion goes Bourne across the formation. Now a little pitch out to Ace over on the far side, cuts it back up, tries to get a few yards up to the 20 and maybe gets to the 20, and they will get to the 20. So just a gain of about 3 right there for the Boomers. And that's not bad. Brings up about a 2nd and 7.
A little bit of 5-on-1 there for Ace Long.
And it looked like initially they were going to have the numbers on the outside on the pitch, but
kind of
Cash read it well. So under 4 minutes to go now in the first quarter. Boomers on their first drive. Started at their own 20. They're up to the Cash 20 now. And a good long drive here, guys. String together plays. This is what you want to see. Be able to get that drive going like Eric talked about earlier. Just stay on schedule. Cheap in the gun. 3 to the near side. 1 to the far. The far is Laird. Long in the backfield with Cheap. He'll take snap. He'll roll out the pass to the near side. Survey field. Fires over the top to the end zone for Long. And Laird. And it's swatted away incomplete. Jamarcus Tisdale on the coverage there. Played it pretty good.
It's very good coverage there, Tyler.
Yeah, that was a really good opportunity for the Boomers, and it was the play of Tisdale that actually was able to keep the Boomers out of the end zone. That was actually just good football all the way around.
Well, and it looked like a good pass and a good route by Cheap and Laird right there, but like to talk about Tisdale, just senior stepping up to make
out that field goal leg for Ace Long. Are they going to go for it? It looks like they're probably going to go for it.
Had a kick block last week, and that's not necessarily Ace's fault, but maybe not quite fully confident in the line. 92. And now a timeout taken. And welcome back here to Boomer Stadium. Co-line Eric Scott, Tyler Riggs with you as the Boomers currently in a timeout. And guys, we thought maybe going for it and then decided to take that timeout. So, Eric, we're in field goal range here. Do you trust the leg of Ace and the field goal coverage despite the block kick last week? Or do you think you'd be aggressive like we saw earlier in the drive and try to go for it and get this first down?
Well, the one downside is there is a little bit of a breeze down here. It's kind of crossing a little bit from right to left, so I think you probably still go for it here.
And it looks like that's going to be the call. Cheap back out there. He'll be in the gun, along with him, flaking him on his right side here. 2 to the near, 2 to the far in terms of receivers. Cheap sends a man in motion. It's Medina across the formation from the near side, dropping back to pass. Cheap, they've got a screen set up. Long's got it. Oh, tripped up, but stumbles forward. Did he get enough for the first down? I think he's going to be short.
He's
a couple of yards short, and sure enough. Oh, man.
And he did everything he could to stay up on that. In fact, as he's going down, his legs are still running. So, but I like the play call. Cash just was able to sniff it out.
And who do we get that was on that tackle? Because that was sniffed out by one Cash Bulldog that essentially saved that play. I think it might have been 32, which would be Jack Vinell, the senior. At their own 14, 2:39 left to go in this first quarter. It'll be Harbin under center, man in motion now, but the handoff inside to Drake Jones, He'll lower his shoulder, get a couple yards forward, from the 14 now up to the 19. So a 5-yard gain there. And that's how Cash will start the drive.
I just want Josiah Beza on there on the tackle. We keep talking about week after week since he's been on the field. He's been all over the place, and you know he just showed his strength right there. He's a little undersized compared to a lot of people playing in the linebacker position, but he wrapped him up and he waited and pulled him back actually about a yard as well.
2nd and 5 for the Bulldogs now. Harbin under center. Motion, handoff inside, though. It's going to go to Jones again, and he'll plow forward across the 20 to the 24. And you mentioned balls on the ground, but I think they whistled it dead, it looks like, before it came out.
Yeah, that was missed. He was on top of a Boomer.
I see.
I did not see an elbow or leg on the ground, but that's okay.
And it'll be enough for the first down as Jones able to get another 5 yards. And this is what Coach Lynch was kind of talking about. You got to play your discipline, you got to play your man. Couple little slight holes open right now, and that's enough for Cash to be able to get some yards. 1st and 10 from their own 24. 3 to the far, 1 to the near. Under center's Harbin, man in the backfield. Now the handoff to Coleman on the jet sweep. He breaks a tackle, cuts across the 25, now up to 30. Still dragging guys across the 30, now up to 35 almost. And they're going to mark him down at the 37. Oh, my goodness. Had about 10 guys there pushing forward.
And his shoe came flying out about 5 yards out in the middle of the run, too.
And the smallest guy for Woodward comes out of the pile, Talon Laird.
There's Kyrie Coleman right there on the run. He's had a couple decent ones now for the Bulldogs on that jet sweep. As they've now got up to their own 37. 1st and 10 will be Harbin under center. In motion goes Coleman, and he will get the jet sweep. Handoff, cuts up, has some room across the 40 to the 45 before he's drugged down. About the 46, almost 47-yard line again, just gashing on that jet sweep as we're under a minute to go now in the first quarter.
Hey guys, it really feels like, you know, they broke down that film against Newcastle because they're doing a lot of what worked for Newcastle against the Boomers and kind of sweep into the right side.
So 2nd and 1 here for Cash now. Under center, Harbin. Receivers in tight. In motion goes Coleman. They'll hand off to him yet again. He's got the edge again. Cuts it up to the 50. Into Boomer territory. Lowers the shoulder and finishes the run before he's knocked out of bounds at about the 40. Looks like they're going to say 46 in Boomer territory, and that's another first down for Cash.
Lucas Shirky there on the tackle.
30 seconds to go in the quarter. Clock will wind now. So that's about another 8 or 9 there for Coleman. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. In motion now across the formation. They've got a man, but it's going to be a boot out to the far side. Harbin keeping himself, and he's chased down and tackled down by Mason Bourne. Just had him all the way there to read that one. Only a gain of maybe 1.
Looks like he barely got to the line of scrimmage.
And that will do it for the quarter. So at the end of 1, we are scoreless. 0-0 ball game here. Cash has got it and trying to drive. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92. And welcome back here to Boomer Stadium. Dakota Wagner, Eric Scott, Tyler Riggs with you. Almost said Dakota Scott. That would have been a weird mix between you guys. But anyways, it's going to be the start of the second quarter here. Scoreless as Cash has football in Boomer territory at the 45, trying to drive. They've got a 2nd and 9. Harbin under center, he'll hand off there to Drake Jones. And Jones going to get a hole and plow forward there off the weak side of the formation, right near the stick. Got to about the 37, it looks like, from the 45, so a gain of 8. That's going to be 3rd and 1. Again, just that gut play right there where they get that handoff when you're worried about the jet sweep.
You know, the Boomer defense is doing a great job recognizing the runner. It's just they're doing the same thing the Boomers have been doing, is just keep moving forward.
Now sweep handoff here to Coleman, just gets across the marker to the 34. Needed to get the 36, so just gets a couple yards and the first down there on 3rd and 1. Cash will keep the drive moving. Kyrie Coleman again getting some of that carry.
He is quick on his feet.
He's got some cuts in him too. So 1st and 10 for Cash now at the Boomer 35. In motion goes Coleman here to the near side. They'll hand it to him again on the sweep. Cuts up across the 30. Sticks out an arm and gets pulled down. And it looks like the 28, maybe 27. We'll call it the 28. And that is going to be another game there. About 7. And it'll set up a 2nd and 3 or 4 here for Cash.
I'm going to go video game here. And this is something I used to do, and this is what Cash reminds me of, is you just put an athlete at quarterback,
right,
and then you just run the option. That's how
what you do.
NCAA football back in the day.
Man in motion is Coleman again. 2nd and about 3. They'll hand off inside this time. Looks like it's Drake Jones again. It is, and he's dragging Boomers across the 25 to the 21. And that's going to be enough for a first down. Another 7-yard run there, and that's pretty much what this drive has looked like for Cash. They're just getting enough of a hole on each of these handoffs to be able to take advantage of a few yards. That's all they need, a triple option. I mean, we saw this, Woodward has seen this with Piedmont the last few years in 5A. All you need is just give them a little bit of that shoulder room and get a man through the hole. They're going to get a few yards. They're going to have to see if they clamp it down here. 1st and 10 for Cash. Harbin under center, receivers in tight, man in motion. They fake the handoff. Harbin's going to look to pass. He's got some time, still surveying. He's going to float one up to the end zone and caught by Braden Castro for the touchdown. Back to the end zone. Got it. Had a man back there. Looked like it was Lucas Shirky trying to defend it. Castro just boxed him out for the strike. And so Cash breaks through on the first big play, and now they're setting a quick here to maybe go for 2, it looks like.
And that's exactly what happened. It looked like Shirky really had position initially, and the receiver just kind of essentially boxed him out. There was not a lot of contact. He just jumped up and made the grab.
Castro, a senior, not the biggest guy, but has some good skills there. And now on the extra point here, they will go for 2, try to float one over to the corner on a fade route, and that's incomplete, broken up by Mason Bourne, who's one-on-one coverage there. And so the 2-point conversion fails for the Bulldogs, and we sit at 6-0 with 9:49 to go here in the second quarter. We will step aside for another break. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92.
On their first drive that the Boomers have got to watch, and Luchin's talked about it as well this week, you know, is they'll sit there and they'll do that. They'll triple option you know, up the field, and all of a sudden they'll try to go over the.
It's going to be Shane Feedback, the senior.
Looks like they're going to kick right to Mason Boring.
Say Feedback has done some targeted kicks, and we'll see if that's the case here. And sure enough, it is a high one. You got to watch out here to not get clocked, and it is caught, fair caught right there by a Boomer. Wasn't Boring, it was a man next to him.
Zathan Klingenpill, I think.
Now that's Ryan Douglas. It's number 12, I believe. That'd be Ryan Douglas. So, yep, right there at about the 41. So that will be good field position for the Boomers to start here, respecting Taylor Laird and Carson Medina back there in the return game. And now, guys, you hope you could find an answer here. Not that you're in danger of anything, but you want to be able to match tit for tat, if you will, if you're the Boomers. So 1st and 10, it'll be Cheap under center. Behind him, Ace Long, 2 to the ear, 1 to the far end motion, goes Boring across formation from the near side. Snap, handoff inside now to Long. He's going to lower his shoulder, and he's not going to find much room as he runs into that 950-pound wall of the Cash defensive line for no gain.
Those are some big boys, Tyler.
305, 350, and 300. That is a lot of meat to try to move.
Every time they get back on the field, they just look a little bit bigger.
And he's not lying from field level.
Yeah,
they look bigger.
They look like they're hungry out there for sure.
Yeah,
That's some big boys. And they actually moved Ace about a yard back, so they'll call it a loss of 1. I thought he got back to the line of scrimmage, but not the case. So 2nd and 11 for the Boomers now. 9:10 to go in the half. The cheap under center, 2 to the near, 1 to the far, and ace in the backfield. Man in motion is Medina. They'll fake the handoff. Cheap rolling out. He's going to throw a strike over the middle. That was picked off. It was tipped off the hands of Luis Corrales. A man was draped on him, and it's Brayton Castro coming up with the pick right at the 50-yard line, and an unfortunate interception there as Corral maybe had the chance on it, but it was tight defense, and it just kind of got knocked out of his hands right into a Bulldog's hands.
Yeah, I think the ball may have been probably a little harder of a throw than it should have been. A little high, it caused the tip, and, you know, great job by Castro to recognizing the ball was tipped. And he came from a good 5 or 6 yards on the other side of the lawn. Castro's after the touchdown and interception. You'd like to see the defense continue to be fired up and make a stop like that.
You don't have to question out Mason Bourne. That kid, 2-yard gain for the Bulls.
The ball doesn't lie.
And that's ball don't lie. Okay.
That's literally the thought I had just had, was the ball does not lie.
So the Boomers forced a turnover of their own, and just they tried to go for a double handoff to Cash, and it did not work out. So the Boomers take over with 6:46 to go in the half. And they will have it at their own 42-yard line. Trying to get something going here. Cover from that turnover. The cheap under center is going to have 2 receivers to the near, 1 to the far tight end out there, as well as Luis Corral on the far side, and running back Ace Long. Cheap will get the snap. He'll fake the handoff. He's surveying to fill the pass. Under pressure, he's got to roll out. Still looking. He's going to fire, take a shot deep, going for a man, and that's over his head, out of bounds. That was Mason Bourne that he was trying to get to down there on the far sideline, and just kind of overshot, but not the worst ball. On the run and put in a spot where either Mason was going to get it or nobody else was.
Nope.
You know, I like the play call too. You know, trying to get the ball downfield after 2 fumble recoveries, 2 unofficial fumble recoveries.
Those guys looking that ball in there.
It was also a great throw by Cheap to hit him right in the chest.
So 3rd and 2 for the Boomers. 6:06 to go and count down here in the first half. Ball on the 50. Cheap the gun. 3 to the far, 1 to the near. The near is layered. Now snap, fake the handoff, a little swing pass out to Mason Bourne, but just off his fingertips, as it was maybe just led a little bit too far by Cheap there. Would have had the first down, had some open space, and now bring up a 4th and 2.
I say go.
Nope.
Here, okay.
Yep.
I say go for it here. Don't punt it.
I mean, you're at neutral field position. It's not the worst thing if you give it up, to your point.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and again, if you kick it, you had the chance of them running it back. Go for it now. You know, you've done well on defense stopping them. So
4th and 2 for the Boomers. Cheap is going to be in the gun. 3 to the far side, 1 to the near, and long in the backfield. The near is layered.
They're going to fake a run right here, Tyler.
Cheap, going to get the snap, going to hand off inside the long. He's going to lower his shoulder and drive pass. He's broken free. The 40, the 30. Can he go all the way? The 20, the 10. Touchdown, Ace Long. What a run. 50 yards just like that, and the Boomers have tied it.
That's exactly what we've been talking about how Ace keeps his feet going. You know, he took that hit, and it looked like he was down, and all of a sudden he pops out of that line, and it's Green in front of him all the way.
And that pop, that shoulder pad pop, we heard it up here. He didn't care. He just kept moving. My goodness. So 5:46 to go in the half. The Boomers looking to take the lead now here on the extra point.
What a run by the freshman.
Yeah, say that again. Freshman, folks.
Freshman.
4 more years of that, or 3 more years of that, excuse me. Now on for the extra point here. Kick is up by Lucas Shirky, and that is good. And the Boomers take the lead 7-6 with 5:46 to go in the half. We'll step aside for a quick break. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92.
I could have swore he was down.
Yeah, they're trying to save his quad because his quad's been bothering. We can do that.
And welcome back here to Boomer Football on Z92 and BoomerTV.net. If you're watching there, we welcome you as well. Dakota Wagner, Eric Scott, Tyler Riggs with you. me, with you. And I heard a little tip from we got a little insider talking about Ace as an 8th grader, benching 400 pounds is what we heard in the weight room. That's I don't know if we can confirm that, but that's what I've heard. I got an inside man.
And that is legs. That is all. Yeah, like it's amazing what that kid has been able to do so far this year.
And that was a 4-play, 58-yard drive. Just took a minute off the clock, and now the kick here by Lucas Shirkey, deep and into the end zone for the touchback. And so Cash will start their own 20.
That sailed almost to the other side of the end zone.
You know, we thought Ace would be the kicker, and he was to start things, but I think Coach will just take some load on him. And we know Lucas has got a foot too.
Oh yeah,
very good soccer player.
He can definitely bust down in soccer for sure.
Yeah.
One of the positives of Woodward having good soccer programs is you've got multiple guys who can do that.
With the boot. I saw Peyton Carter with the foot, and Coach Shirkey, JP Shirkey, was saying, hey, you need to come out and
just
play.
a couple years back, Shirkey was wearing number 11, Jackson Shirkey kicking field goals.
Yes. And now under center will be Harbin for Cash. First down, they'll hand off inside to Drake Jones. He gets just a couple up to about the 23. So gain of 3 there. Here, Zayton Klingapil on that tackle.
Yep.
So bring up at 2nd and 7 for Cash. Now, guys, if you get a stop here for the Boomer defense, really kind of keep that momentum rolling with the offense. The 2nd and 7 for the Bulldogs. Almost 5:15 to go in the half. Harbin under center, man in motion. They'll hand it off to that man in motion, trying to get the edge, getting strong out there, and he cuts it up, just gets enough to get a little near that first down marker on that run. That was Avery Lawson, the junior. And it's going to be real close. Like I said, Dakota, they need to get to the 30. May got to the 29.
Looks like they're going to mark it just a little bit short.
So, yeah, at that 29. So that right there would be a 6-yard gain. Thought Woodward was going to be able to have them strung out, but just not quite. So 3rd and 1 here now for the Bulldogs. It'll be Harbin under center, 2 receivers to each side, a man in the backfield. Now in motion, and they'll hand it off on the backside. The dive across the 30. It looks like they had the first down. That should have been Drake Jones, it looked like. Again, it was. And just gets 2 yards, enough to move the chains, and Cash will have the first down.
He was holding that ball, a briefcase, with $1 million in it. He's not going to let go.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure the conversation over on that sideline after the fumble was ball security. Like you said, Eric, maybe 2 fumbles technically. Under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Cash, 1st and 10. Harbin under center, man in motion. They'll fake the handoffs. Harbin look at the pass. He has a man open here on the near side. It's caught by Tyler Miles up at the 40-yard line. Good catch, but quickly dragged down by the Boomers. About 3 or 4 right there on him. And a decent little game, though. Got it from the 31 up to about the, they're going to mark it right on the stick, actually. I thought he was at the 40. No, they give him the 41, so a 10-yard gain for the first down.
Looked like Lucas Shirkey just had to use everything he had just to drag him out.
Yeah, that's it. You know, I think Shirkey after that touchdown was kind of obviously kind of frustrated with himself, and he's trying to do everything he can to make up for it.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. I'll hand this one off to Braden Castro. Castro's got a hole across the 50, the 40. It's a foot race. Can somebody track him down? The 20, the 10. He is gone. It is a touchdown for the Bulldogs, and they answer with a huge play of their own. Oh, my. Braden Castro, 2 big ones in this first half.
Never look back.
Cash got away with the block in the back down here.
Regardless, 59-yard run for Braden Castro. He's had one now at the receiving spot and one on the ground on that jet sweep.
You're going to try to trick us here again, Tyler, it looks like, Cash.
Yep. As they pull back in the wide formation and now line up for the extra point. Still went for a 2-point conversion out of this. We'll see if they actually kick it. They Shane feedback on for the extra point. Holder's going to be Tyler Harbin. He'll get snapped. Ball is down. The hold's good. Kick is up. And that is good. So it'll be 13-7. Cash answers with a huge touchdown of their own to take the lead back with 4:03 to go here in the first half. I believe I do have a break available, so I'll step aside for that. You are listening to Boomer Football on Z92. Had the big run by Ace Long. We know running games there, guys. We've seen some passes start to get complete after that initial drop. I think for the Boomers here, no concern. Just keep doing what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, just keep chugging along. See if you can get some passes in the area. I know Taylon's really wanting that ball.
Oh, yeah, he'll be fiending for it. Boomers going to take over at the 35 after the kick out of bounds.
And I agree with what you were saying. Just do what you've been doing. We've been moving the ball against them. We just had a couple plays here and there we haven't been able to convert. But you're only down, 6 points here. Just keep continuing to do what you do.
This will be 1st and 10 for the Boomers. On 35. As we get them out of the huddle now. Hold on, the play clock's working. I haven't seen anything up there yet. All right. So it'll be Cheap in the gun. 3 to the near, 1 to the far. Ace Long in the backfield with him. Man motion is going to be Mason Bourne from the near side to the far side of the formation. Now snap, pitch out to Ace Long to the near side. Got a little bit of a block, cuts up across 35, almost to the 40, and I think he gets chopped down right at the 40. He does.
Yep.
So a 5-yard gain there by Ace, and he continues that strong running.
And expect Ace, if he has an open gap, he's going to take it to the house.
Well, as we know, the big last run, he may not even need a gap cover, just lower that shoulder and bowl over people.
And I said this earlier in the game, and I continue to see it.
And just, I guess it's actually considered technically a pass on that now. They call it a forward pass, just a little flip.
He kind of snuck back there and took a pass away from him.
And Old Downey, one of those two-way players for Cash, a running back and a linebacker, so good read, as you mentioned, Eric.
Trips. Timeout.
And now we got a timeout here by the Boomers, and we've exhausted our timeout, so we'll keep it right here while I got the chance. Let's go ahead and thank some quick sponsors with us on the Boomer side of things. High Plains Tire, gold sponsor with us, sponsor of the Boomer Coaches Show. Top Cap Formal Wear and Accessories. Dairy Queen is our halftime sponsor. Caleb Roach Insurance. Great Plains National Bank. Dr. Chrisley Mosley. First Republican Title Company. Triple Clean Car Wash. Defiance Radio Shack. And KFC Taco Bell. And as well, the scoreboard sponsor tonight with Boomer TV. That'll be Stride Bank. So shout out to them for sponsoring the scoreboards. If you're the Boomers here, 3rd and 4, I'd imagine probably 4 down territory still. With under 2 to go in this half, you're trying to match the score if you can. You're going to get the ball back to start the next half, so be pretty big momentum if you punch in some points here and then start with that ball and start the second half.
And here's one wrinkle that I wonder if we're going to see this year. Last week we saw that fake 2-point conversion, or almost conversion, I guess. They didn't actually convert it, but tried it. And with Ace made actually a great pass. I wonder if we're going to see a halfback pass at some point this season.
I would personally like to see a little pitch here out to the side.
It'll be Cheap in the gun, 3 to the far, 1 to the near. The near is Laird, Long in the backfield with him. Bourne goes across formation, in motion. Snap, handoff inside is going to be the Long here on 3rd and 4. And right on the edge, a man waiting for him, and he's going to be drugged back nowhere near that first down. It was Mold Downey again, Eric. Reading that from that linebacker position, outside linebacker position. They'll bring up about a 4th and maybe 6 for the Boomers as they mark it back now at the 47.
And also, we talked about 4 down, kind of 4 down territory, but I'm going to say we got a little bit of wind right now. Maybe pooch bunt a little bit and see what happens. But I think they're going to try to go for it.
It is an option. Now another timeout used this time by Cash. As they take, looks like their first of the half maybe. So they've got 2 left, the minute 12, and stopping the clock, making sure Woodward can't run this down and maybe pull that pooch punt like you're talking about, Eric. And I imagine here for the Boomers, this is now a tougher call. You go from, what would have maybe been a 3rd and short to a 4th and 7. Yes, you're in plus field position, but at the same time, you got 2 timeouts by Cash and time to drive it. Do you pull that little pooch punt, or how do you think you approach this?
Okay, yeah. So to me, again, this is just me playing conservative, but I say you take that pooch punt. There's not a lot of time on the clock. They have that go against the wind, make them go downfield and see, make them earn it, I guess you could say.
Right.
Yeah, you're just going to have to put some big guys on defense if you punt it right here and just hope that they don't score, because when you come back out, the balls are going to be right back in your hand.
Right, so maybe you work with that, knowing, like you guys are saying, hey, if you just punt away here, you get the stop, you get the ball essentially to start anyway. So it'll be 4th and 7 here for the Boomers. Cheap is going to be out in the gun. 3 to there, 1 to the far. Long in the backfield with him. The nearest is Layer. Cheap does take the snap. They'll hand off the Long inside on a draw play, and again going nowhere. And that's going to be a turnover on down, so lose another yard. And Cash is going to take over with 1:07 to go in the half and 2 timeouts at their own 48. So interesting call. And so Cash now.
Well, and it's kind of like we talked about earlier. It kind of goes either way where, you know, you've been was able to get the hand on the ball.
My bad. Did not see Taylor. I don't know how I missed Taylor out there at 6 foot. And welcome back here to Boomer football from Boomer Stadium. Dakota Wagner, Eric Scott, Tyler Ridge with you, Z92 and Boomer TV. We're at the halftime show. Your Boomers trail here on Homecoming, 13-7 to the Cash Bulldogs, and this for a district opener for both teams. And fellas, really, I think the summary of the first half, you look at the drive sheets. Cash got one big drive in the first quarter, took 11 plays, 86 yards, and took about 4.5, almost 5 minutes off the clock, and was able to kind of cap that one off with a big 21. Yard touchdown pass. Woodward answered. Good drive of their own. Of course, the big run by Ace Long, a 50-yarder to get that one in. Cash would immediately answer with a 5-play, 80-yard drive of their own. A big play as well from Braden Castro, who caught the touchdown pass. He's got a rushing and a receiving touchdown. And outside of that, though, how are we feeling about what we're seeing from the Boomers here in this first half?
I mean, they're coming out and they're playing better football than what we've seen over the past couple weeks. You know, they're holding their opponents just to 6 points, so hopefully we can come out of the half and score a touchdown.
Eric, what do you think on that first half performance there?
You know, I started to say something and realized I wasn't facing the press box.
That's the old trick, yes.
Sitting down here on the bench, just relaxing a little bit. Hey, you know, I felt like kind of like what Dakota just said, though. You know, really, we're not playing bad at all. This has been a real clean game for the Boomers. Probably the most disciplined game the Boomers have had this season. Not just as far as penalties, but just the play. You know, they're not over pursuing. They're not trying. They're not pressing on the offensive side of the ball. You know, I think we're playing with them. We're playing with them well, and I think that's that's an advantage that we have because we have shown that we will fight all 4 quarters no matter what.
Well, and something that Coach Lucian kind of mentioned during the coaches show is that if you're going to give up the touchdowns, you know, on a couple of drives to Cash, he feels like in the second half the Boomers are going to fare better in terms of the conditioning compared to the Bulldogs. He was saying, you know, if you could force 8, 9, 10 play drives out of them, sure they might get a score in, but they'll kind of fade off a little bit. That was something that he had noticed from the team there. And, you know, for the most part, you've done that. You've stopped all but 2 drives. You've only let them hit one big play like we're talking about. It's just that one long drive, and Woodward's been able to move the ball offensively. I think, like you said, Eric, discipline-wise, execution, they're performing a lot better on that end of the ball, which is something you like to see. And if the defense could continue to be explosive, we saw them have a fumble recovery. If you get another turnover, that could really swing some momentum. Of course, going to have to go out and capitalize on this first drive in the second half when you get the ball. Got about 15 minutes left here in the Dairy Queen halftime show. After that first half recap, we will step aside for a break and come back and update you on scores around the district and also talk about some scores going on in the area as well. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92. And welcome back here to Boomer Football on Z92. Here the band there having a good halftime homecoming performance here. Always a great job does Stacy Crockett and that crew. Right now though, Cash on top of the Boomers 13-7 here at the break. We recapped a bit of that first half there before the break. Now let's check on some scores going around in the district. Two other district games going on tonight. Elk City is the one not playing out of the 17 district right now. They're on a bye week. They will play Clinton next week. So that will be in Elk City. So that should be an interesting game. Some of the scores were mentioned. Chickasha right now on top of Weatherford. Chickasha came in 2-1. We weren't quite sure how legit they might be. They played, you know, maybe not the toughest non-district schedule. They're up 28-21 over Weatherford right now in the second quarter. And then Clinton and John Marshall. Otherwise, this might be a very, very competitive district, even more so than we thought.
Clinton, I thought, was going to be the team to go all the way and win it this year, Tyler, but it seems like
they lost a lot, you know. They're still, as Clinton does, they reload. They don't necessarily lose, they just reload. So some surprising scores there for sure. Some of them in the area. Another big 4A game going on. Tuttle and Bethany locking horns. Tuttle number 2, Bethany number 6 in the second quarter. Tuttle up 20-13 in that one. A tight ball game. We know that Bethany team very talented. We saw that firsthand. In Class A, a preview we had over on K1 talking to both coaches, Coach Trevor Powers and Robert Bernard, Hooker and Fairview. That's a huge district class there to start district for both of those teams. That was for the district title last year, and now it starts the season. We'll see if Hooker there as well. More on merit at the break. They're up 27 in that game. Crescent right now beating Watonga 20-7 in the second quarter. Again, these are all Class A scores there. Checking for a couple more. Another interesting clash. Cashin is in Class B real quick while we've got them. Camden and Greenwood playing. That's an interesting test for both teams. Camden right now trailing 18-6 at the half there. Sealing leads Cherokee in a tight one, 28-20 at the break. Laverne has essentially run-ruled Alec 48-0. They will get the win right now. Shaq in control over Central Marlowe 38-6. O'Keene all over Beaver. That one about to be final as O'Keene leads 46-0 there in the second quarter. Dewar up big over Arcoma right now 52-8. Hollis, who was independent last year, now they're in 8-man. They are beating Surreal right now 24-0 at the break. Bacco Forgan beat Criminal Hillsdale yesterday 15-0 on a Thursday game there. Blank them some quick Class C scores if I can bring them up. Of note, sure, see how the Rails are doing real quick here. Sharon Mutual and Medford going to battle in a home game for Sharon Mutual. Medford up 24-12 there at the break in that one. Top 4 Mod, they have beat Paoli 54-0. Timberlake right now, number 1 Class C. They are all over Deer Creek, Lamont 56-0. It's sending good wishes out to Brian Severin, Timberlake's head coach. He's going into triple bypass surgery this weekend. So, yeah, found out that he had some health issues and trying to take care of those. Good wishes there to Coach Severin. A really good guy. We've had him up here for Classic Bowl and an outstanding man.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually kind of a personal one for me because Coach Severin's daughter is hopefully my future sister-in-law. So, there we go. So, yeah, definitely scary to see him have to do that, but, he's a strong dude.
Very strong dude for sure. Tyrone right now, another big score. They're up on Buffalo, 28-6 in the second quarter. Winoka about to end it in Boise City as they lead 56-0. The Rails boys still looking strong down there. And that will do it for your wrap-up of some scores here at the halftime. We'll step aside for another break, and we'll come back and talk about some keys to the second half and what's ahead for the upcoming weekend as well. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92.
To go. He goes, yeah, I was a little nervous
And welcome back here to Boomer Football on Z92 and Boomer TV. Dakota Wagner, Eric Scott, Tyler Riggs with you. We are at the Dairy Queen halftime. Your Boomers trail Cash 13-7 right now in this for a district contest. We looked at scores around there, reviewed some of that first half for you. And now, guys, let's talk a little bit about what's ahead. Of course, if you're a Cowboy fan out there, OSU on a bye week this week. They will await Baylor, make the trip to Waco for a tough game on the banks of the Brazos, as Toby Rowan likes to call it there.
Oh, mama.
Yeah, so that'll be a big-time Big 12 opener, if you will, for Oklahoma State. Tomorrow for the Sooners, they will host Kansas State, and what should be an interesting Big 12 opener for both teams. Kansas State looked like they might come into that game ranked, and then they dropped a game to Tulane at home. So
I'm just excited for the game, Tyler. You know, big T-Row fan.
Yeah. Speaking of Toby Rowan, you can catch his broadcast on K101 tomorrow with pregame coverage beginning at 5 o'clock. That game's set for a 7 o'clock kickoff. And then,
as always, it's a good show he put on.
It will be.
It will be.
Let the ponies out of the barn.
Oh, yeah, you can unhitch the wagon.
You can unhitch the wagon. But then, Eric, Northwestern, the Rangers, I had it of who they were hosting. Hold on here. Pulled up. You may be able to answer. They're on the road, excuse me, I believe.
Yeah, the Rangers are on the road. I believe they're at.
Tyler.
I got to pull up my pin message.
I go to school there and I
East
don't
Central.
even know.
I believe at East Central
yes.
is where they're at this
going
week.
Down to East Central. That should be. It was a tight game last year, 2017. I believe East Central just barely pulled that one out.
Yeah, I believe East Central's a little bit better, you know. But last week the Rangers against OBU, I went up there to the game and it looked like they're the best game they've had this year. They kind of late started they had an interception and then just kind of the OBU started to pull away a little bit, but. You know, last week is kind of like what we've been seeing with the Boomers. It feels like they're trying to make some headway.
One of the two winless teams left in the GAC, trying to get that win on the board and get some momentum like you're talking about going there. Southwestern Oklahoma State, they were on the road in Shawnee against Oklahoma Baptist team. Of course, as you just mentioned, played the Rangers last week. That one last year was a tight game as well. Oklahoma Baptist took it 31-27. So both of those games set for a 6 o'clock kickoff. And I believe both of those streams as well. I know Northwestern does their stream, so definitely check that out and support some good local colleges, build some good programs out there. So as both teams getting ready to come back out onto the field, it looks like.
Hey guys, I want to give a quick shout out to the band. They sounded great during the halftime performance, but you know a lot of people don't realize that these kids will be out Friday night supporting the football team, playing fairly late. They're up late. And then Saturday morning, especially during the early parts of the season, they're on the bus at 6 o'clock in the morning heading to a contest somewhere. So
yeah, and Eric, I've been trying to schedule it up with Daisy to be able to get her on the coach's show. She's kind of usually one of the first non-football guests I try to get, along with a couple of the band members. And yeah, you mentioned that work ethic. We talk about that all the time. You think a football schedule is tough. No, sir. You haven't seen anything until you see a band schedule. Those kids, not only, you know, like you mentioned, playing late Friday night and then turn around Saturday morning, they're out here practicing early morning hours to get the show right and doing a couple hours of practice. Doesn't matter if it's rain, sun, shine, snow. They're out there trying to get it done and work that. Daisy Crockett and crew do a fantastic job with that band. A band that's won a lot of accolades over the last year. Performed very well on the national circuit with jazz band and their concert band. And they got to host a game day state, I guess you could call it now, for band. That was a new category. Got to involve the dance team as well, so that was special. And just some good stuff there. So for sure, shout out to that band. But let's talk some second half adjustments here real quick, guys. You know, I would say probably, at least for me, the big thing is you got to watch that big play. We've seen it a couple times now. Cash willing, as you mentioned in the first half, Eric, a couple times. They'll draw you in on that run. But as soon as you start to push up, they look for that over-the-top shot with Harbin in the passing game. They've had a touchdown off that. That's something that you got to definitely sure up. What else are you guys maybe looking at for the Boomers to adjust for here in the second half?
I think on the offensive side, I think we might see us throw the ball a little bit more. You started to see it towards the end of the second quarter. Obviously, in that last drive, they kind of had to throw the ball, but you know, we're giving ourselves opportunities to get the ball down the field through the air, which, you know, if can start connecting on some of those, sure up some of those drop passes. We've had a couple tonight hit us right in the hands, but we catch some of those passes, opens up the running lanes for Ace.
And I totally agree with that. Ace, obviously, getting some really good moves in there. I'd just like to see Sam, kind of get out of the pocket, maybe run a little bit more, kind of get out of his comfort zone.
Well, we saw it before the end of the half when he was looking to pass and had the space.
He started,
really got some big chunk yards. So
really,
if they're going to take away that shot over the top, absolutely be able to tuck that thing and run and take the yards in front of you.
His awareness is incredible.
It's great. He's got to keep using it.
I think there's only been maybe once or twice where he's gotten a sack this year. Maybe not even got one yet.
I think he's went down maybe once.
Maybe
once against Guthrie. I think we saw him go down, but he avoided about 5 or 6 against Bethany. It was crazy.
It was insane.
And I think on the defensive side, you don't change anything. I think the defense has done a great job. We talked about there's always that opportunity for Cash to go over the top, but we haven't seen much out of their quarterback to say that you trust him enough to do it. So just keep doing what we're doing.
Well, to your point, the one they hooked up on was really more of a great play by the receiver, and Braden Castro made a very tough catch. So you mentioned some of those throws. Harbin's really kind of float them up there a bit into dangerous spots. So maybe that's something, if you could force the passing game, that could lead to another turnover or 2 for Cash. Looks like both teams just about ready here to get things going. We're still going through a couple more stretches. Probably a couple minutes more back on the clock on us. I do want to thank some quick sponsors while we got the chance here at the break. High Plains Tire, our gold sponsor of the Boomer Coaches Show, and so much more with us. Cannot thank them enough for what they do. Top Cat formal wear and accessories. Go check out the cons. More with people by nature, but great supporters of the tri-state area do a fantastic job getting you suited up for all your special event needs, not just weddings or proms, anything special you got going on, they'll get you suited up. Dairy Queen's our halftime sponsor. I mean, oh man,
love me a DQ burger.
Amen to that. I need Kenny to bring me one right now.
Oh yeah,
Kenny Vassar, if you're listening, I'm standing here at about the 35-yard line on the south side right now, so you can bring it on over.
Also, Caleb Roach Insurance. That's a gentleman that's continued very quickly. Kind of newer on the scene, but has really put his support into Woodward as a whole and Woodward Athletics. Great Plains National Bank, always a long-time great sponsor of the area, and also here in Woodward. Dr. Crystal Mosley, another one. Dr. Mosley cannot speak enough about her. First Republican Tile Company, another mainstay over there on Main Street here in Woodward. Triple King Car Wash, been around. And get your car clean, man. Nothing wrong with getting your car clean.
No, there's not.
And then Divine's Radio Shack. I mean, talk about another special group there that do a lot for the tri-state, not just Woodward here.
Very friendly.
And then KFC Taco Bell. We're talking about, Dairy Queen. You get some Dairy Queen, maybe a Blizzard, maybe a burger. You still hungry? KFC Taco Bell's got you covered there too. So.
Tyler, if it's me, I'm going back to Dairy Queen. There's no Taco Bell for me. Nope.
And also the scoreboard sponsor tonight with Boomer TV, Stride Bank. So shout out to Stride Bank being a game scoreboard sponsor here with us as well. Well, with that all said, looks like team's done stretching. The Woodward going to get the ball to start the second half as they kicked it away. Deferred in that first half. Looks like wind-wise, still a bit breezy down there, Eric. Is that what we're feeling? How we looking wind-wise, you think?
Yeah, it's still a little breezy. You're not feeling it as much on the field. But looking at the flag, it's up there. But I think it's kind of more westerly than it was southwesterly earlier. So I think that's going to – so once the ball gets up in the air on a punt or something like that, that's where it may play a role into the play.
It's going to be Shane Feedback on this kickoff. We've seen him a couple times now. Has done some targeted kicks, if you will. One went out of bounds. The other one was short to Ryan Douglas. So
you know what happens when you kick it to Carson Medina and Taylor Laird. It's a little bit to stop him.
Yeah, that's all respect.
Especially when you got the big guys blocking in front of you.
And now they've got Ace Little sunk back there too. So maybe kind of sneaking him out there in the formation to be able to catch one of these short kicks. Feedback will walk off the steps. It'll be Laird and Medina back to receive, standing about their own 10. I mentioned Ace standing about the 20 in between those two guys, so forming kind of a triangle, if you will. There's the whistle. Feedback will jog up to it, and he goes deep this time. This one's sailing, and it's going to go over the head of Medina into the end zone. So it'll be a touchback, and the Boomers will start. Are you looking to pass more? continue to open up that run game. So Coach Luchin and crew approaches.
You know, smart play by Cass there, kicking into the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want, you know, Carson Medina, Taylor, or Ace Long to have the ball if I'm coming at you.
Well, and you know what's funny, earlier here we saw people try to kick away from Laird, and then Medina started ripping off returns. So both of those guys lethal threats, as we know. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Boomers. Chief going to be in the gun. He's got 2 to the near, 2 to the far. In the backfield with him is going to be Ace Long flanking him on the near side. Man in motion out across the formation. That's Mason Bourne from the far side to the near. Snap, handoff inside to Long. He's going to bounce it. He's got to cross the 20 to nearly the 25. Maybe mark him right on if they do the 25. So a 5-yard gain from Ace Long. We've seen that a few times tonight where those first down runs, he's able to get a solid 5 and keep the Boomers on schedule.
You know, it looked like he had a gap there too, but it closed on him, and if it didn't, you know, he might have been off to the races.
Did it close, or did one of those 300-pound defensive linemen just
one
kind
of
of shift a little bit?
Maybe one of those little.
I think he just took a little bit of about a half a step.
Lost your second. I think you're trying to say if you took a half step out.
Took a half step, and that's what closed it.
Yeah. So 3 to the near, 1 to the far. Chief in the gun. Man in motion is Bourne across formation. Long in the backfield. He'll get the handoff now here on 2nd and 5 and bowls through the hole for just a couple before he's drugged down. Got up to, looks like, the 28, so that's about 3 more, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 2 for the Boomers.
I'm liking the gaps. I'm seeing that they're leaving for Ace.
And here's where you want to be. 3rd and 2, playbook's wide open. A lot of things you could go with if you're Coach Luch and crew are talking about, of course, as we're saying, keep it on schedule.
Haven't seen a whole lot of Hayden Hilliard tonight.
Have not in the backfield. We used him more for defense. And the gun will be Cheap. 3 to the far, 1 to the near. Long in the backfield. The furthest is Layered out there. Snap. Faith the handoff. Cheap going to roll out. Short pass. Looking for a man. And that's over the head out there of Mason Boring. Well covered by Cash. So that's going to bring up a 4th and 2 for the Boomers.
I think that may have been a little bit of a miscommunication.
Yep.
Bourne was supposed to kind of find that kind of open spot in a bubble there, and he didn't move into that, and
I see. Yeah.
Wasn't there, and Chief kind of dropped it right there for him.
Down on the sideline, Taylon Laird saying, "My bad, my bad."
Interesting. So it'll be Cash Shipley on to punt for the Boomers, stuck in their own territory here at the 28. Shipley had a few good ones last week. Gets the snap here going against the wind. Let's boot into this one. It's end over end, a bit short. Takes a favorable bounce, though, into Cash territory across the 35. It'll roll to about the 31. It's not bad there. Goes from Boomer 28 to the Cash 31. That's where Cash will take over here to start the second half for them.
You know, kicking the ball up into the wind like he was, that was actually a really good punt.
Yeah.
You know, and he got that punter's roll as well.
Yeah, we've seen him be able to do that. Dropped a couple of beauties like we're talking about last week. And again, talk about an athlete, just a sophomore, already 6'4". So 10:26 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Cash will take over for their first drive of the second half, leading 13-7 over your Boomers here on Homecoming. It's going to be Tyler Harbin out there under center. 2 receivers to the near, 2 to the far, 1 in the backfield. It's Muldowney, now man in motion across formation. It's Castro. Snap, they'll hand off inside to Muldowney. Muldowney gets across the 35, gets up to 36, so he gains about 5 right there on that first down run. So 2nd and 5 now here for the Bulldogs. See if the Boomers can bow up a little bit. Harbin going to be under center, no running back behind him, just receiver split out and a tight end on each side of the formation. Now man in motion is Muldowney. Hand off to him on the sweep, and in the backfield, Ethan Matt wraps him up and flings him down at the 30. Oh my goodness, Ethan Matt all over that one.
Moose is a guy I would not want to meet.
Oh,
you know,
no.
he kind of popped out right there. There was just nowhere for him to go, and Moose just wrapped him up.
And they give Muldowney some forward progress and mark him at the, looks like 34. So loss of a couple on that run, and Moose with the tackle for loss.
Small, but very mighty.
Small and wide. That's something you want to be.
Yes.
3rd down here for Cash in the gun is Harbin. He's rolling out the pass here on the short side. Got man open. It's caught. That's Kyrie Coleman. Coleman up to the 50. Plenty for the first down there and gets it. And they'll mark him out of bounds right at that, looks like 51-yard line. Or excuse me, 51. Wow, 49 in the Boomer territory. And that is a first down for Cash in a big game.
I'll say this, that, Newcastle did this last week. Cash was doing the first half, really going to the left side of the Boomer defensive, on the Boomer defensive side of the ball, going to the left side. But that time, as the defense has started to correct itself, they started going back.
First and 10 for the Bulldogs. Again, a fake handoff. Harbin looking to pass, throws it short. Hasn't been complete to Muldowney, but a big hit right there on the far side. And that was Lucas Shirky back from injury, and head coach Lucha thought that they had maybe lost him. He said during the coach show for the season, but instead gets cleared. So that's a big sigh of relief to have Mr. Shirky back there. Second and 7 now for Cash at the 46, they'll call it. Harbin under center, two running backs in the backfield. Man in motion, they hand it to the man in motion. As Castro cuts up the gut, he's got a hole across the 40, inside the 40 to about the 36, and he's got enough for the first down for Cash, and they get another just gashing run right there from the 46 to the 35. That's a game 11, and now we got a Boomer down on the field here, it looks like.
Oh, that looks like Shirky.
Yeah.
No, it's not Shirky.
We'll go ahead and step aside for a quick break while they tend to the injured player. We're listening to Boomer Football on Z92. And welcome back here to Boomer Football on Z92 and Boomer TV. Dakota Widener, Eric Scott, Tyler Riggs with you. It looks like it's Carson Medina, the injured Boomer, walking off a little gingerly. Maybe got the ankle twisted up a bit there in that mess of tackles. So, but walking off under his own power, maybe just kind of one of those where you step the wrong way or you get stepped on and it's weak for a second. So, be a first down though for Cash after the 11-yard running back, and he cuts it up to the 30, lower the shoulder, gets about a gain, looks like a 5 there. They're going to mark him short of the 30, about the 31, and so bring up a 2nd and 5 for the Bulldogs.
Big tackle over there by Mason Bourne, one-on-one. He brought him down. Really brought him down hard, kind of not quite a suplex, but he did the best.
Modified suplex.
Yeah.
Snap suplex, maybe they call it.
He's done that a couple times tonight.
Playing with some fire is Bourne on that edge. You'd love to see that close the speed. 2nd and 5 for the Bulldogs. Harbin under center now. Man in the backfield, 2 receivers in tight. Harbin, gonna drop back, looks pass. He's under pressure, man. Wraps him up and takes him down. And that will be a big loss for Cash all the way back to the 36. Couldn't see who got in
55
on that.
For the Boomers, I think.
Would that be? That would be Luis Corral trying to figure out who that is. Real quick.
Kason Bourne.
Yeah, the middle linebacker, Kason Bourne, on a blitz. Gets it.
Side of the Boomer defensive line.
So 3rd and 10 now all of a sudden here for the Bulldogs. 6:45 to go in the third quarter. Harbin's going to be under center. No running backs in the backfield. Receiver split out. Now motion goes Muldowney. Harbin going to be back to pass. He's looking. He's going to take a shot deep. Has a man open. That's caught. That's Tyler Miles for the touchdown. We warned about him in the pregame. They covered him pretty well in the first half, and he busts loose for a touchdown strike on 3rd and 10. A 36-yard pass from Harbin to Miles.
Well, we talked about at halftime. It's one of those things where you just got to keep doing what you're doing. And I said he really hasn't had a really good thrown ball today.
Yeah.
That was his best thrown ball and put that right where he needed to put it.
It was on the money, no doubt. Went behind him and put that one on the money. So 19-7, 6:31 to go in the third. Now for the extra point here are the Bulldogs. Shane Feeback lining up for this one. Snap, ball down, hold is good, kick is up, and that is good as well. So 22-7 now. Cash on top, leading your Boomers here on a homecoming. 6:31 to go in the third. We'll step aside for another break. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92. And welcome back here to Boomer Football, Boomer Stadium. Dakota Wagner, Tyler Riggs, Eric Scott with you on Z92 and Boomer TV. Cash on the board again. They lead now 27 after a 36-yard touchdown pass from Tyler Harbin to Tyler Miles. Caps off a 8-play drive and about 66 yards on that one. And the guys just, now you got to answer offensively. You need a spark here to kind of get yourselves back into it.
Yeah, this is where you got to start questioning. We need to get a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
You know, we always say, I preach it. You got to keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, but this is the first time, you know, middle of the third quarter, we're really in a game. You know, do you start pressing a little bit more and trying to make a push here in the third quarter?
So on the kick this one, it'll be feedback, Shane feedback. Booted one for a touchback. Last kick. It's Flared and Medina backed up now to their own 5 back there. This feedback gets the whistle. Checks with his guys, make sure they're good. That begins his job. And puts another boot in this one. Bit of a sidewinder. It's going to be returnable.
Oh,
Laird's going to get it and catch it at the 5. He's up to 15 now. 20 makes a cut. 25-30 into the midfield here. 35 up to the 40. And finally, oh, jukes another one. And finally gets knocked out of bounds.
47, it looks like, Tyler.
Oh, man. 42-yard return. Yes, 46 is what they'll say.
Wow.
41-yard return by Taylor Laird, but making all sorts of moves. It took about 8 Cash Bulldogs to finally drag him out.
I bet he thinks different about where he's going to kick that ball next time.
Yeah. So the Boomers take over at their own 46. After a good return. 6:19 to go here in the third quarter. It's going to be Sam Cheap out there in the gun. 2 receivers to near, 2 to the far. Ace Long in the backfield with Cheap. Taylor Laird, the farthest receiver. Cheap gets a snap, drop back to pass, surveying the field, trying to find somebody. None's open. Now he's under pressure. He's going to go down. And it's the 2 big boys in on him there. That'd be Kenneth Wormy, I believe, as well. Trying to find that one. 62, big man in there as well. Jalen Vanek, 5'11", 270-pound senior. And that one just looked like more of a coverage sack. I mean,
it's exactly, that's what that was. You know, every check he had, there was nobody open for him, and they had collapsed enough in on him that he's unable to take off.
So a loss of about 4 there. It'll send the Boomers to second and 14. Their own 44. Cheap in the gun. 3 to near, 1 to the far. Snap low, but Cheap corrals it. He's run out to near side. Quick pass. Has a man. A nice catch out there in the flat. That looks like Zane Weibel, if I'm not mistaken, on that catch. It was.
If I'm correct, you know, he had that ball held to his helmet like he caught it between his shoulder pad and his helmet.
Almost looked one-handed, but it was an awkward catch. Made it work. Gained back the sack yardage. 4 yards there. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Just a second time or third time this season that Sam Cheap has gone down.
3rd and 10 for the Boomers now. Need to get to the cash 42 to get this first. Cheap in the gun, 3 to the far, 1 to the near, long in the backfield with Cheap. Taylor, the farthest wide receiver. Cheap going to take snap, roll to the short side. Looking for a man. That ball's tipped, though. A great play made there by Drake Jones. It looks like Cash Shipley was the intended man, but got knocked to the ground by Jones, who kind of skied for that one. Would have been kind of floated in there to Shipley, who was looked like he was kind of near that first down marker.
Looks like Mason.
Oh, go ahead.
Looks like Mason Boren comes out. Looks like he's a little injured.
I see. A little shaken up. And it looks like the Boomers have to punt. What are you going to say, though, Eric?
Yeah, that was one of those situations where Cheap, you know, was looking right at him the whole time. And, you know, the guy who went up and made the play, you know, just kind of read it the whole way and just jumped whenever he met the ball.
Drake Jones, the senior, well tethered back there as a linebacker. Cash Shipley on the punt this one. And now we got a flag delay game for the Boomers here. They were hesitant to figure out if they wanted to go on and punt this one or not. And so back them up 5 more yards. It'll be a 4th and 16. Ball's going to be sitting about their own 42 now. Shipley's going to be punting this from inside his own 30, right about his own 30 by the time he catches the snap. Bulldogs with 2 returns back deep. Looks like Brayton Castro is 1. And then, as well as Tyler Harbin back there.
Beautiful.
Punt away, and boy, that was a skied kick. It's fielded, though, by Castro, returnable, and a great open field tackle right there by Ryan Douglas, young sophomore. Couldn't see who got the first contact on him. I believe that was maybe Lucas Shirky.
Yeah, Shirky was kind of.
You turned away from the bus.
Yeah, turned away from the press box. Shirky did a great job of, jumping in there, got a little bit of hand on him and pushed him right over to Douglas, who finished off the play.
So Cash going to start from their own 25 after a pretty good punt there by Cash Shipley. Just a couple yards on the return by Castro. 4:40 to go here in the third quarter. Boomers need to stop as Cash leads 20-7. Harbin under center, a handoff on the sweep to Kyrie Coleman. Breaks out of a tackle, but another man there to drag him down for maybe just a yard gain. Good job by the Boomers to string that one out.
And guess who was in on that tackle? Josiah Beza.
Oh, Josiah Beza. Yeah. Not surprised. We've said his name a lot. That kid hustles. Hustles. Can't wait to see what happens if he puts a little bit more, meat on the bones like we were talking about, Eric, filling out that frame. He's going to be a real lethal threat.
Well, that's one thing to think about. Like we're calling a lot of guys who are underclassmen. We're calling their names a lot.
Yeah, a lot of sophomores, freshmen. Second and 9 here, and now Coleman busting out on the far side, another run, and this time a first down as he goes from the 26 there up across the 40. We'll see that will mark him out. Might mark him out a bit short of the 40. Still going to be a first down regardless. They do it about the 38-yard line there, so a 12-yard run.
We're talking about those young kids. Also, the 8th grade class, I believe they're 3-1 this season. Very athletic class. So there's more players coming up for the Boomers.
Talent all the way. First and 10, ball on their own 38 for the Bulldogs. 3:58 to go now in the quarter. Harbin under center, one man in the backfield, two to the near, one to the far. Far man goes in motion. They'll hand it off to him. It's Castro. Castro cuts it up the gut, breaks out of a tackle, still dragging a Boomer, and gets taken down at the 50-yard line. My goodness, Brady Castro running hard. Zathan Klingenpill was clinging for dear life.
And then you had Josiah Beza to kind of wrap it up.
Another first down, that one up to the 49-yard line, 11-yard run by Castro. 3:35 to go here in the third quarter. Boomers need to try to find a stop. Cash has been very effective, though, on the ground. Harbin under center, everybody in tight, one man in the backfield. That's Drake Jones. Man in motion now. It's Castro. The handoff to Jones, though, and he's plugged up. 3 or 4 Boomers right there in on tackle. I see Hunter Harrison.
Looks like Moose has his arms around him.
Zathan Klingenpill was there. Looks like as well maybe Zane Weibel crept up in there and got stopped.
Hunter Harrison.
Or excuse me, that was 55. Casey Bourne getting the stop there. So four Boomers in on that one, no gain. By Drake Jones. Second and 10 now for the Bulldogs.
Looks like under center. Looks like they might go in the air here.
Yeah, now they get back out to gun. 3 to the near, 1 to the far. Harbin takes the snap. Little speed option to the far side. He'll pitch it out to Jones, and it's there. He's got room. Across the 45-40, up to the 35. First down. Ball's out late, and the Boomers fell on it, but they're saying Jones was out of bounds first.
I think he actually did get a foot out of bounds before the ball was.
Wait, no, they're saying the Boomers have it.
Wow.
Boomers having Drake Jones, unfortunately. Looks like he's down over there on the far side, so that's not good to see. But the Boomers do come up with the forced fumble and the recovery. They're saying Lucas Shirky got it. Unfortunately, again, though, Drake Jones still down over there on the far side for Cash. We'll see if he's over on sideline. They may not take a timeout with this because he is over there in their bench.
And where he's at, from personal experience, is kind of a bad place to put your feet because there's a little drop-off right there. So I wonder if he rolled his ankle.
You're saying maybe got too far over there.
Yeah, kind of where that concrete ends.
I gotcha. That is kind of one of the unfortunate parts of Boomer Field. On the sidelines, it's a bit tight from the grass to the track like you're talking about. So it looks like you're checking on Harbin or on Jones. He's off the field, so I think they'll be able to play this while they're checking on him. Hopefully he's all right. Never want to see any injuries, of course, or in the course of the game. But regardless, first and 10 for the Boomers after the forced turnover. 2:42 to go in the third quarter. They take over at their own 32. Be cheap in the gun, 2 to the near, 2 to the far. Man in motion. It's a little flip pass to Laird. He cuts it upfield, gets across the 30, and now cuts it back out. Ran out of room there. And they may give him some forward progress of a couple yards up to the 35.
Looks like they might going to give him maybe one. No.
Yeah, gave him back essentially the line of scrimmage. They're going to say he moved back on his own.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, had you, but lost you.
Oh, okay, there I am. You know, I think he had about 2 yards, but he kind of jumped back a little bit to make something happen. That's when they were able to wrap him up.
So 2nd and 10 for the Boomers.
I think he saw those 300-pound linemen and had to cut it back.
Yeah, I might too. Under center is going to be Cheap to the far one to the near ace along the backfield. Man in motion is Mason Bourne. Cheap going to take snap, fake the handoff. He's going to roll it. Got a man open in the flat. It's caught by Bourne, and he's going to be across the 35 up to, let's see where they mark him, 36, maybe 37. So a nice little gain there off the play action. Set up about a 3rd and 5. So he's up to the 37. That you like to see, working off that run game a little bit, finding a man open.
They're going to bring Zane Weibel in and Mason Boring out.
So we'll see how they call it here. 3rd and 5, minute 20 go in the 3rd quarter.
And we have seen Weibel get the ball for a first down. You know, cuts up for a little bit, but see what we can get here.
In the gun, it's going to be Cheap. Ace long with him. 3 to the near. Nobody on the far tight end on the far side. Snap taken by Cheap. Now a little flip out to Ace Long, trying to get some blockers in front. A man in the backfield on him, but Ace Long cuts back up. Now he's fighting forward across the 40, trying to get to the 42 where the Boomers need to. We're going to be stopped there. An excellent cut, though, by Ace Long to extend that play. Looked like a Bulldog had him dead to rights in the backfield, and he juked him out.
Looks like he's just going to be about a yard or 2 short.
Got up to the 40. So I'll call that about a gain of 3. Could have been a loss, though.
And they're bringing Moose in.
Under a minute to go here in the quarter, 35 seconds.
They're going to take Long out.
4th and 2. Ball going to be on the 40. Got to get to the 42.
Looks like we might see the big man get the ball here, Tyler.
You're campaigning for it. They got 10 seconds on the play clock, 25 seconds to go in the quarter. They got to snap it. Now 8 as they get up to the line. Moose in there behind Cheap. Very tight formation. One man split out wide. Cheap going to take the snap. He's going to try to find a hole and get up to the 42. Lower that shoulder. It's going to be close. Let's see where this near side ref marks it, because it's going to be his spot. Might be just a couple inches short. If so, that'd be another turnover on downs. And got maybe to the 41. And yeah, he need to get to the 42. I don't think they're going to measure this one. And that is going to be Cash football. And a turnover on downs.
That was a good job by the Cash defense, just to plug any kind of opportunity he had to go straight up the middle.
So 1 yard run there by Cheap on 4th down. And now give it right back to Cash now in plus territory. They'll take over at the Boomer 41-yard line. 10 seconds left to go here in the 3rd quarter.
I would imagine that 900 pounds is pretty heavy to push.
It is a load. It is a load.
I mean, that's what I do on a daily basis, but you know, whatever.
Oh boy, what you pushing 900 pounds with? Eric?
That's what I squat.
Oh,
it's not
wow.
pushing. That's what I squat. No.
Should try out for World's Strongest Man.
Under center is Hardman. Man emotional handoff inside to Connor Muldowney though, and he's stuck quickly right there. Who else? That one.
Hayden Hilliard.
Yeah, Hayden Hilliard stepping up and making a great tackle. Only a gain of a few, and that's going to end the 3rd quarter. And the Boomers go into it trailing 20-7. Going to have to come up with some stops. And we'll come back with the 4th here as we step aside. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92. And welcome back here to Boomer Football on Z92 and BoomerTV.net. Dakota Wagner, Eric Scott, Tyler Riggs with you as we begin the 4th quarter. Right now, your Boomers trail here on homecoming night, 20-7 to the Cash Bulldogs in their district opening game. And Cash has the ball at the Boomer 38, 2nd and 7. It's going to be Harbin under center, 2 running backs in the backfield, 2 receivers split out. Harbin sends a man in motion across the formation, but they'll hand it off to Kyrie Coleman on the backside. He's got a little bit of a gap, a flag down though back here. Coleman gets across the 30, or gets across, excuse me, the 31 to the 30. Would be a first down right now, but as mentioned, flag in the backfield. Is this going to be a holding is the question.
They're pointing towards us, so.
See how it goes.
Oh, he's telling them to come back over there.
Yeah, so it should be a holding. It's very early, so if it's the spot of the ball, this is essentially going to be back at the line of scrimmage and back it up 10. We'll see. And, yep, it's going to be backed up there, a holding. Do want to give a quick shout out. We've been talking about the Chiefs, of course. The Chiefs always devout followers and watchers. And Sam Cheap watching all the way from Iola, Kansas.
Max Cheap.
Max Cheap. When I say Sam, my bad. Max Cheap. Yeah, see, I got Sam Cheap on the braid there. So, but Max, of course, supporting his younger brothers, tuning in.
What an athlete. What an athlete.
Doing some big things out there, playing basketball at the next level. So, proud of him.
Big moves.
2nd and long here for Cash. Back to pass is Tyler Harbin. He's going to float one up to Tyler Miles. And, oh, a great play from Talon Laird. Almost had a one-handed interception. What a recovery by Laird. Miles had him by a step. But Laird stretched out, knocked it away, and bring up 3rd and long.
Yeah, that was a great job by Laird, recognizing where the ball was going. He just, you know, he did.
Oh, lost it.
All right, we're there. Yeah. He didn't try to.
Oh.
Okay. He's trying to face the press box. It's tough. It's tough down there. But no, great play by Laird. Brings up a 3rd and 20 for the Bulldogs. In the gun. 3 to the near, 1 to the far is Harbin. Takes the snap. Rolling out here to the near side. Looking to pass. He's under pressure. Have to step up, and Ethan.
Holy moly, that kid just Superman dived.
Ethan Matt closed from a very long distance and got that tackle. And that brings the 4th down. Only about a yard gain there as Harbin gets to the Boomer 49.
How do you fly like that, just straight into it?
That's, you want to talk about a load flying at you. That is Ethan Matt just flying in there. My goodness.
Hey, now from my view down here, that was a great coverage by Shirky. He recognized that they had an open man, and he just slipped in there and took it away.
So 4th and 19 for Cash. I'll have to punt. And it'll be feedback on the punt. This one's Sky to Laird. They're saying get away from it because it's short. Rolls back now to about the 22. It's not a terribly long punt. And the Boomers going to start out at about, it looks like 22 is where they will call it. So the Boomers starting on their own 22. 10:54 to go in the ball game. Got to start coming up with some answers here.
When I saw that punt go up.
Oh, lost it.
And really, it didn't look like it died in the air or anything like it did earlier. So I looked at the flag, and there is absolutely no wind out here right now.
Yeah, he just kind of skied it a bit. Maybe kept it skied. So Boomers take it over at their own 22, trailing 27. Be Cheap in the gun, 2 to the near, 2 to the far, Ace Long in the backfield. Cheap will take the snap. He's dropping back to pass. He's got time. He's going to throw a strike over the middle, looking for Taylor Laird. Did he catch it? Oh my gosh, he did, through pass interference. What a catch by Taylor Laird at the about 44-yard line. Say 43. My goodness, what a catch.
The first catch that is, towards Taylor where he has a chance.
Yeah.
And he makes it.
Yeah, that was a great throw. Put that in really the only spot that Laird had an opportunity to catch it. And like you said, there was somebody literally on his back the whole time. They got the flag, but he made the catch.
What a beautiful catch. They will decline the penalty because the gain was bigger than the pass interference.
You got to give credit to Cheat. What a beautiful throw.
Yeah, as Eric said, a
nice.
So 1st and 10 for the Boomers now. Ball on their 43 is what they call it. 21-yard gain. Cheap in the gun, 2 to the near, 2 to the far, long in the backfield. Cheap back to pass again. Has time again. Now he's going to roll the pocket. Floats past the Mills. Got open man. It's Ace Long caught down to the 30-yard line. He leaked out of the backfield. And now they're in Cash territory at the 29 is what they call it. A beautiful little floater right there by Sam Cheap, and Ace Long looked it in.
Beautiful.
And now's when you can kind of start going back to the run game a little bit. You're starting to open it up and see if Ace can make something happen.
28-yard gain there, so back-to-back big passes from Sam Cheap.
If he didn't stumble on his own, Tyler, he was off to the touchdown.
Yeah, he had space in front of him. First and 10 for the Boomers. Ball on the Cash 29. Cheap under center, 2 to the near, 1 to the far. Ace along the backfield. In motion is Zane Weibel across the front of the formation. Snap, going to be a handoff to Ace Long here. Trying to attack the right side. Oh, he's chopped down quick there. Had a little bit of a hole. But again, a great tackle by Jack Vinall, the senior, in that inside linebacker spot. Cuts down Ace for no gain.
Kind of looks like Ace got clotheslined.
Yeah, well, Vinall went low on him.
Literally.
Chopped out those legs. That's what you got to do on Ace, because if you let him get those legs going,
he's gone.
Ooh, we've seen it. So 9:20 to go in the ball game now. If Woodward can punch it in here on this drive, that would really help things with the clock.
Weibel comes out. Ryan Douglas comes in.
Second and 10 for the Boomers. Cheap in the gun. 2 to the far, 2 to the near. Ace along the backfield with him. The nearest is Taylor Laird. Cheap back to pass. A little bit of pressure. Now he's got to scramble to the left near side. Floats a pass to the end zone. Looking for Taylor Laird. Sky and fourth. Did he come down with it? Oh, they're going to say an interception? An interception by Jamarcus Tisdale is what they're going to rule that. It was 2 guys skying up there with Taylor Laird on the Cash side. Sure enough, an interception by Jamarcus Tisdale, the senior that kind of has essentially been playing a nickel look for Cash, comes up with a huge pick.
Yeah, as they came down, both him and Laird had the ball, but once they kind of got down on the ground, he was able to pull the ball away from Laird.
Tough there. Wow.
Looks like the athletic trainer is checking on Sam Cheap. Took a shot.
Yeah, Cheap stood in there and tried to deliver that ball under the pressure. He was rolling out and took a shot, as you mentioned, kind of an odd angle.
And I think that's what Coach Lujan's over here talking to the official about.
One maybe a late hit. Either way, Cash is going to have it first and 10 at their own 20, 8:56 to go in the ball game. Handoff now on the jet sweep. It's going to be Muldowney. He's going to get across the 25, still fighting forward. He's got a host of Boomers on, though. Did the ball come out? A Boomer came out of the pile with it. There's finally a whistle. Did they get this right back? There's the turnover bag.
I think the officials didn't talk about it. I don't think any of them really had a clear view.
Yeah, because it was just a mass of guys.
And
it is Boomer ball, so they get it right back.
Tyler, you talk about the throw in the end zone. The ball does not lie.
Exactly.
So one play for Cash, and they turn it right back over. Woodward with who ripped that away?
You know, I honestly could not see, but I think that's one of those things where the ball's dropping earlier. You know, the Boomers, since those earlier fumbles, you know, they have just been ripping at the ball anytime the ball comes through there, and there was a bunch of hands in there trying to rip at the ball.
So now you start at the 30 in Cash territory, 8:45 to go here in the ball game. See who the quarterback is, see if it's Sam.
It's going to be Sam.
So he must be fine or fine enough. Sam's going to be under center. Ace along the backfield, 2 to the far, 1 to the near, tight end on the far side. Man in motion. Ace Bourne across formation, now to the near side. Sam going to hand off inside Ace, makes a little cut, makes another cut, makes a man miss. Gets up to almost the 25, but not quite. Gets to the 26 there. That's a nice gain of 4 for Ace on first down.
How he saw the defender coming in there right at the line and made that little move. I heard Dakota up there go, woo!
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I have no idea how he saw that because he was actually blind to the defender until the last second.
It definitely deserved a Chris Berman whoop.
It did look like he was about to get snow plowed, but just changed directions on him.
Yeah, that's that vision for a freshman is lethal. That's insane. Second and 6 now for the Boomers at the 26. Cheap gun, 3 to the near, 1 to the far, long in the backfield. The nearest is Laird. Cheap puts Weibel almost across formation from the near side. Takes the snap. Now it pitches Ace Long. Ace going to cut it up.
See him get in.
It's going to be Cheap out there under center. Long's going to be behind him. One receiver to the near, 2 to the far, and now timeout. 1 was on the play clock. So 7:14 to go in the game. We'll hold that thought with Eric and come back to him after we step aside for a quick break. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92. And welcome back here to Boomer Football on Boomers with you. Boomers facing a 3rd and 3 from the Cash 23. And Eric, what thought you had there before we had the break? Just checking some things out there on the sideline. But Dakota, now you got this 3rd and 3 as the playbook essentially open. We don't know if Sam's going to be able to pass it. We haven't seen him pass it yet on this drive. They've kind of kept it, in the run game. What do you think is going to happen on this 3rd and 3?
I'm thinking that he may not. Technically, it would be a pass. He may give off a little pitch to Taylor Laird.
Well, and I was going to say, before they went into the timeout, maybe a play action bootleg. Now that that's kind of slowed a little bit, that might change.
Cheap in the gun, 3 to the far, 1 to the near. The near is Laird, long in the backfield. Cheap will take snap. He's dropping back to pass. Looking, steps up, still surveying. Going to fire a throw to the end zone. That's picked off by the Bulldogs. Was intended for Zane Weibel. It's Braden Castro with the pick, and he'll return it out to, looks like, the 26. Cheap tried to dart that one in there, and it just came up a bit short as it was behind Weibel and right to Castro there, and that will be another interception for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and defender really read Cheap's eyes the whole way.
Castro's been big on both sides for Cash tonight. Had a receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown in the first half, and has come up with some big defensive plays as well, including that pick right there. So Cash takes over with 7:03 to go now here in the ball game, leading 20-7 over the Boomers at their own 25. It's going to be Harbin under center. Man in the backfield is Muldowney. 2 to the near, 1 to the far. The far goes in motion. Now Harbin going to hand off to Muldowney. He'll lower his shoulder, get out almost to the 30 before he stopped. They do get him the 30, it looks like. So that'd be a gain of 5 on first down. Set up a 2nd and 5 for Cash. And unfortunately, guys, you can hear it. The crowd kind of a little bit out of it right now after that big pick. Got to get some of that energy back.
And something I talked about all week last week, we talked about a little bit to the game. We've got to learn to capitalize on the opportunities we are getting. Yeah. That fumble was given right to us in great field position, and we were unable to capitalize. In fact, giving it right back to them.
So Harbin under center, 2 running backs in the backfield, 1 receiver, and a couple tight ends. They put a man in motion. They'll hand off inside. Though Muldowney, he's got room. He's got the first down. Across the 35, almost to the 40, gets to the 39-yard line. So a gain of 9 right there, and they'll move the chains on their first down for Cash. 6:10 to go here in the ball game, and you can bet Cash going to try to keep it on the ground, drain this clock. They're not in any rush necessarily to get to the line. Harbin going to be under center, 2 running backs in the backfield, 1 to the near, a couple tight ends. In motion goes a man now, but they'll hand off on the backside to Kyrie Coleman, and Ethan Mack right on him immediately. And he'll drag him down. Got some help to end that one, it looks like, from Kason Bourne. And, boy, yeah, Moose all in on that one and read it clean. Only a gain of a yard, if that.
My boy Moose, love to see it, Tyler. Love to see it.
He's had a couple good ones.
Yes, he has. Just finds his way in there. Really good position there for a nose guard,
Well, a guy that's, not the tallest, but he's wide, low to the ground. That's a tough guy to stop if he gets a read on him.
Almost kind of like a bulldozer in a way.
Harbin under center, 2nd and 10 here for, and now a false start, it looks like, for Cash. Had a lineman jump over there on the far side, left guard. So I'll back him up 5, make it a 2nd and 15. That's Blake Burgess, the junior lineman.
I love watching reactions when guys make mistakes like that. And he kind of stopped, he turned around, I was like, where was everybody else? Nobody else went?
Yeah, I've been there. I used to be a lineman, believe it or not, back in my day, and I've had a couple of those false starts. A couple. It's not fun. You feel dumb. You feel dumb. 2nd and 15 now for the Bulldogs. Harbin going to be under center. 2 receivers to the near, 1 to the far, nobody in the backfield. Now man in motion with Muldowney. They'll hand it off to him. Ethan Matt almost got him in the backfield, but Muldowney broke out of it. He's going to get back the penalty yards and get right to the 40. Maybe got a yard. It'll be a 3rd down and long here. 3rd down and 9. They'll call it for Cash. So a 6-yard run there by Muldowney.
I think offensive linemen are one of those guys that, a lot of people think they're the dumb guy. They're the meat, but those guys have to know where everybody is going on every play. A receiver, he's got to know his route, you know, and have an idea, but linemen have to know exactly where the ball's going every time.
Third down for Cash now. Oh, had 2 minute motion. This is going to be a flag for legal procedure. It's a handoff on the far side, though, and it's a man breaking out now, and that's going to be Avery Lawson getting across the 40 into Boomer territory down to the 35. This is coming back, though, because they had 2 minute motion. And, yeah, illegal shift. And that's going to erase that play and back it up for a 3rd and long now for Cash.
You take 2 plays back. If Ethan Matt gets a hand on that jersey, it's a good at least 5-yard loss.
Yeah. Either way, though, still a 3rd and long. You like to see that.
Yep.
Problem is, only 4 minutes on the clock right now, so another play comes off the board. If you stop them, they're going to punt it with about 3:30, and you've got to get 2 scores in here if you're the Boomers. Now the ball sitting on the 35-yard line. 3rd and 14 now for the Bulldogs. Get some Sweet Carolina there from the band. Harmon under center, 3 to there, 1 to the far, 1 on the backfield. Harmon puts a man in motion on the far side. He's going to drop back to pass. He's going to try to sling it. Oh, get sacked. No, almost picked. And it is picked by Luis Corral. Luis Corral, the now tight end. How about those hands?
What a play!
hadn't played. He's been a down lineman. And now a tight end this year on defense makes the pick, but we got a flag. I don't know what it is. It looks like it's still going to be Boomer ball.
How it happened was he had the ball, it pops up from his chest, and then he gets the ball back and lands with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, first of all, the flag was a hold that he inclined that and hold on the offense.
Yeah.
But, you know, Garrett.
Losing you a bit.
I got to turn to the right spot. Yeah. Okay, it was one of those situations where he was coming forward, so it had been one of those incomplete passes. The ball just kept kind of bouncing around up there, and he was able to come down with it.
Well, we had Luis Corral on the coach's show this week, so maybe it's good luck for him to be able to pull that pick in.
How many turnovers do we have for Cash there, Tyler?
This has been a lot of turnovers by both teams. Fumbles and picks, I have to tally it up after the game. Boomers again, great field position after Cash 29. Got to capitalize here. You got the turnover. 3:57 to go. Chief's going to be in the gun, but now we got a timeout. Timeout by Coach Luchin. Have to burn another one. He's down to 1 timeout now.
That's critical if you score a touchdown here, Tyler.
Yeah, because you're going to have to get a stop quick, and you're going to have to make sure that they don't get a first down. So, guys, you got a couple chances. I mean, you got to try to push and be aggressive, though, right? You can't afford to necessarily run the ball a few times and see what happens. You got to try to get that ball downfield.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you've got, like you said, 3:57 on the clock. I feel like you really got to kind of go on the first play with the timeout. Try to draw something up. Try to get in the end zone the first play, and then you know, potentially onside it. Although the way the defense has been playing, you know, just try to play it out.
Right. And now it'll just come down to depending on what time you get. Now, this is where, you know, a lot of teams do 7-on-7 now in the summer, competitive 7-on-7 where they go play other teams in 7-on-7. This is where that comes into play a bit because a lot of times they'll set that up in shorter field situations or red zone situations. Now you have to kind of rely on maybe some of that within your passing game to find your guys and get something downfield quick here. And punch it in a couple plays. If
I was Coach Legion, I would go a trick play of some sort here. Try to get that touchdown to save some time on the clock.
Cheap in the gun, 3 to the far, 1 to the near, long in the backfield. Cheap back to pass. Under pressure. Now he's going to fire one. Had a man. It was Zane Weibel, but Weibel tripped up. Had to adjust to that and couldn't quite come back to it and make the catch. So that'll be an incomplete pass second half.
Yeah, unfortunately that ball was thrown behind him. You know, and I think right now is a perfect opportunity to go for, you know, get Laird to about the 15 real quick along the sideline and let him make a catch, get out of bounds, and, you know, try to hit another one in the end zone.
So 2nd and 10 for the Boomers. That play only took 4 seconds off the clock. Ball sitting on the 29. Cash territory. Cheap's going to be in the gun. 3 to the far, 1 to the near. Hayden Hillier in the backfield now with Cheap. The near side is Taylor Laird. Cheap takes the snap, is a bit low, but he gets it. Dropping that pass, has time, floats up a pass, looking for Laird in the corner, and has it! Taylor with the catch and a touchdown, a beautiful touchdown catch by Taylor Laird, and there's your quick strike from 29 yards out.
Guys, he caught that going out of bounds, but his feet were dragged in bounds.
Feet were dragged in bounds, as you're mentioning, and it looked like 2 feet. That would have been good on the NFL level.
And now we're an extra point away
from being within one score and a critical 3:47 still on the clock, so you don't have to necessarily onside this.
You can take it deep, play hard defense, and hopefully get a shot.
On for the extra point here is going to be Lucas Shirky.
Really need to make this one.
And kick is up, and that is good. So the Boomers have made it a one-score ball game, 20-14. They trail. 3:47 to go. We'll step aside for a break and have it the rest of the way. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92.
Plays out
there. And welcome back here to Boomer Football on Z92. Eric Scott, Dakota Wagner, Tyler Riggs with you. And we've got a ball game, folks. The Boomers able to find a quick strike 29-yarder from Sam Cheap to Taylor Laird. If Cheap's hurt, he's fighting through it because that was a great throw and an even better catch by Taylor Laird, as Eric mentioned, stretching out over that pylon, dragging the feet right in the near corner of the end zone.
I mean, someone needs to send that to Sports Center, man. I'm telling you.
It was a top play for sure. 3:47 on the clock. The Boomers have one timeout to work with. They got kicking away Lucas Shirky. And it looks like the Bulldogs are pushed up tight here to make sure there's no chance of an onside. And there's the whistle. We'll see how Shirky plays this. And does go with the onside. It takes a huge bounce. It's gone 10 yards, but it goes out of bounds. Unfortunately, took a little bit too far of a leap there. It took a huge bounce.
If it
you're
bounces,
hoping it would die, and it did not.
If it bounces inside, that's our ball, Tyler.
Yeah,
there was
absolutely.
nobody.
Yeah, I think that's tough, though. I think I think we could easily kind of play the defense on that the way we've been playing on defense.
Right.
You know, but also with the momentum, with a catch like that, things like that, and maybe you catch them off guard a little bit.
And that's probably what they're thinking. But Cash did have it pushed up. But a really good onside look from Shirky. Got the big bounce. Just couldn't get to die on the secondary bounce.
Right on the 50, Tyler.
So that's where it will be. Ball going to be at the 50. 3:46 on the clock. Yeah, defense going to need a 3-and-out here, or at least no more than one first down if you're going to give them a first down.
Tyler, my phone's at 42%, and I have a feeling Ethan Matt 42 is going to do some damage.
Okay. So 1st and 10 for Cash. It's going to be Harbin under center, 3 receivers to the near, man in the backfield, and the receiver to the far side. Harbin puts the far side man in motion. They'll hand it off to him. Looks like Kyrie Coleman. He'll get the edge at the 50, but cuts it back up to the 45. Got a couple of Boomers on him, and it's Carson Medina who's back into the ballgame, making the tackle along with Hayden Hillier. And it's a gain of about 6 there for Kyrie Coleman, and brings up a 2nd and 4.
That was a great job of Medina. That was really an open field tackle. He kind of stood him up and allowed Hillier to come over to help back. But that was a great job driving him out of bounds.
2nd and 4, 3:15 on the clock now. Again, you cannot afford really more than a first down allowed here, if that. As sure enough, Cash is going to take their full time. They're not even lined up. There's 10 seconds on the play clock. Now they'll start to line up. It's going to be Harbin under center, and they're looking back to the sideline. 5 seconds. 2 running backs in the backfield. Man in motion from the far side. Harbin going to hand off inside, and that's going to be Coleman, I believe, or excuse me, Castro. And a good tackle again by Carson Medina, able to pull him back and drag him down short of the first down mark. It's going to be a 3rd and about 2.
Yeah, Shirky was also able to get in there on the tackle, and he had his hands on the ball pulling, but he was unable to jar the ball loose.
So we'll call it a 3-yard run, or excuse me, a 2-yard run, as they'll bring up 3rd and 2 from the Boomer 42. If you could make a stand here, it'd be huge.
Got to come up big. Got to push him back.
2:25 on the clock as it continues to melt. 10 seconds on the play clock.
It's a ball game.
Cash not even lined up. Now they start to line up. Harbin's going to be under center. Nobody in the backfield. Receivers split out on each side. Two on each. Muldowney in motion. He'll get the handoff. Cuts it up. He's going to be near the stick. He gets across the 40 to the 38. And that is going to be a first down for Cash at the Boomer 38. A 4-yard run there by Muldowney. Just so hard to stop when he was able to get that speed, cut it up the field. Under 2 minutes to go now. The Boomers do have one timeout. They're going to have to come up with a couple quick stops here. Play clock down to 15 seconds. Cash essentially is they wait till about 10, then they line up quick. They know the play the entire time. Harvin's going to be under center, 2 running backs in the backfield. Receivers split out, and a couple tight ends. Man in motion is going to be Castro. They'll fake the handoff to him. It's going to be Muldowney up the gut. He's going to get across the 35, drag a couple Boomers down to the 32-yard line. Now it'll be about a 5-yard gain and bring up we'll call it a 2nd and 4, so we'll call it a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, as that Boomer defense is getting their hands in on the ball every single time
Trying
and
to
doing everything they can to strip it. But
2nd and 4 from the Boomer 32. Minute 10 to go now. If you get the stop here for no gain or little gain, you probably take the timeout if you're Coach Lucha.
Yep.
Not going to have a lot of time, though, if you get this ball back.
Got hold.
Harbin under center. 2 to the far, 1 to the near. Man in the backfield is Muldowney. He's in tight. Now man in motion is Castro across the formation. They hand off to Muldowney, though, and there's the first down. He's chugging for more. 20, 15, 10, and that's going to put a dot on things as Connor Muldowney gets into the end zone from 32 yards out. Cash will put this one away, now up 26-14 with 47 seconds left. Tough one.
Going to go with their interesting formation for the field goal.
get that swinging gate.
Yep. And now a timeout by Cash here. They have 3 left, so they'll burn 1. Not liking the look, I guess. But, guys, unfortunately for the Boomers, you're not going to come away with the win. You're on homecoming night. You'll fall to 0-4, 0-1 in the district, and now you got a road trip to Weatherford next week. A Weatherford team that's been a bit up and down in terms of their consistency. Played some tough games, but they did lose a lot from last year's squad, much like the rest of the district. And they were in a fight with Cash earlier. We'll try to get an update on that score real quick to let you know where that's at.
You know, and unfortunately, you know, Boomer's probably, you know, more than likely going to fall here.
Yeah. By the way, Cash leading, or excuse me, Chickasha leading 42-28 right now in the fourth quarter over the Weatherford Eagles. So, again, Chickasha was one of those that kind of was picked, you know, towards the bottom of the district. And now if they get this one over Weatherford, they're 3-1 all of a sudden and 1-0, so in the district.
This is one of those games, though, the Boomers, you know, when they go back and they look at film overall, you know, without, other than a few mistakes on the offensive side of the ball, you know, overall is a pretty well-played game for them. And, you know, they got a lot that they can carry on into next week's game at Weatherford.
Really, and you said it earlier, you capitalize on some of those mistakes. And it looks like Cash going to go for 2 here. Remember, district points are in play, so this may be the reason why. They'll hand it off inside, and it is Braden Castro who will get the 2-point conversion. Good, and Cash will make it 28-14. And just to, again, let people know, they're not necessarily trying to be disrespectful. There is margin points, margin victory points, if you will, in the district. So that's why those 2 points do matter. It's not just non-district play. So 47 seconds left to go. Boomers trail 28-14, as Eric said. Looking tough. You do have a timeout, but you're going to have to get a couple quick strikes. You're not going to have to get one quick strike. You're going to have to get the quick strike, get it onside, and then get another quick strike just to tie things up.
A lot of work.
A lot of work. Do want to thank everybody for coming out, though, here at homecoming. It's been a beautiful, beautiful night for watching or listening abroad. Been a lot of fun today. Dakota, you went to the parade, had a good time there. Of course, we talked about Dakota's Marco getting to be with his seniors, which was a really neat deal at the pep rally. Got everybody fired up. It was good to see him, and walked out with the captains tonight, so that was a very touching moment. Got a standing ovation, a well-deserved one from the crowd. So it'll be Shane feedback on to kick. And we'll see how he targets this.
A lot of confidence these last couple of drives here for the Boomers, Tyler.
Yeah, you're going to have to use it very quickly, as we mentioned. Not going to have really any time to mess around, per se. Feedback. Marks off his steps. He'll have the whistle. He's going to check with his guys here. Laird and looks like Shirky, maybe, back there deep. Not Medina, but Shirky. They've got kind of a stacked formation. Feedback will jog up to it and puts a bit of a sidewinder, kind of a squib, tough on the field, but fielded by Shirky at about the 15. Now he cuts it upfield to the 30, has some room, 40, and finally gets drugged down at about the 37. Didn't quite get to the 40. Thought he was going to get there, but didn't. And not bad field position for the Boomers to start out with, but again, just 39 seconds. They trail by 2 scores as you take over here at your own 37-yard line. All right. Apparently Sam Cheap good as far as throwing. Had a very beautiful pass to Taylor Laird on that last possession, which is a 29-yard touchdown pass. It'll be Cheap out there in the gun. 2 receivers to the near, 2 to the far. Man in the backfield with him. Looks like Hayden Hillier may be in there for some blocking. The nearest is Laird. He'll take snap. Quick pass right to Tate. Oh, Laird's going to drop it. Had it maybe in the short swing there. Be incomplete, 2nd and 10. 3 seconds off the clock.
Even though this is a late game, you know we're done. We're out of this game. Those are still, you know, connections you have got to make.
Yeah, it's just building blocks of, you know, of those moments. 36 seconds, 2nd and 10. Cheap going to be in the gun. 2 to the near, 2 to the far. Laird on the near side. Cheap dropping back to pass. Has time. He's going to look for the sideline to Laird, but that's out of bounds. A bit too far out of bounds. Laird had some tight space to work with, and now bring up a 3rd and 10. Trying to get those quick outs, essentially, guys, to, you know, save maybe that timeout if you can and move up the field quickly. 32 seconds to go now. And it looks like Cash kind of playing that 3 deep, trying to keep things in front of him as well. So Cheap's going to be in the gun. 2 to the near, 2 to the far. Hillier with him in the backfield. There's his Laird again. Cheap back to pass. Has a little bit of time. They're going with the screen play to Hillier. It's open. Has a Connor Muldowney those on him. And is going to be dragging him down for just a short gain there on 3rd down. Only about maybe a yard or 2. Muldowney broke off a block and made a big tackle right there. That one got up to about, maybe the 38. And a quick timeout by Coach Luchin. Going to burn that last timeout with 17 seconds left on the clock. And now, essentially, you got to take a heave to the end zone here on 4th down, or at least try to get the 1st down, then take a heave. And that's going to be the ball game if not.
Well, like you said, it's tough right here what you do with Coach Luchin is because you don't want to put your players in a position that they could potentially get injured.
Right.
You know, in a game like this. But also, as we talked about with Cash, you know, when they scored that 2 points, you got district points you got to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so if you can maybe get a few of those points back where it's not necessarily going to hurt you as much, you know, if you are playing for a playoff spot.
Well, to your point there, Eric, you know, with the whole district point deal, I mean, we've seen some scores tonight that now has got us thinking, well, maybe this district's more wide open than we thought. Clinton was struggling earlier with John Marshall. Chickasha right now is putting it on Weatherford. And then Elk City also, even though they beat a very good Canadian. So all of a sudden you go, maybe this district isn't as settled as you think. So every point could matter. And, yeah, it is a tough balance, tough line to walk.
And it's good for people to remember there's 4 playoff spots.
Yes.
You know, you're not.
Got to finish top.
Yeah, you want to play for district title, obviously, but you got 4 playoff spots. You got to try to get to that 4th spot at least.
4th down, Cheap back to pass. He's going to step up, let it fly to Laird here on the near side. Laird got interfered with again, still made the catch at the 35, fights off another tackle to the 30, still going down to the 25. Taylor Laird, you are ridiculous. Unfortunately, that play going to take a lot of time off the clock. He got all the way down to the Cash 25, as that's a 39-yard gain. Excuse me, 36-yard gain. With just 4 seconds left now. And Cheap going to spike it with 1 second. And, yeah, now you're essentially playing for your
got a flag
touchdown to try to make it some district points, as we were talking about.
Looks like they jumped.
See what the penalty is.
Start.
Yeah, false start against the Boomers, so they'll back him up here.
You know, yeah, that's 5 yards, but either way, you got to take a shot at the end zone.
Yeah, the 5 yards don't really matter too much. You'll just take the spike and take your shot.
Despite being down 2 touchdowns, Taylor Laird's effort is is unbelievable.
It's good to see to get him going because he was held kind of quiet the first 2 weeks, got that big touchdown at the end of the game last week, and has carried that momentum into this week. Excuse me. Some big catches here tonight. So last play, 1 second on the clock. It's going to be cheap in the gun. 3 to the far, 1 to the near. The near is Laird. He's double teamed. They've got 2 corners standing on top of him. And then it looks like Hayden Hilliard going to be in there maybe for some blocking.
Looks like Taylon Laird's getting that double team on him right now.
Just said it.
Oh.
That's okay, Dakota. It's been a long game. It's been a long game. Cheap for the gun. Waiting for the whistle here, the refs. I don't know.
They're trying to get 2.5 seconds on the clock, I believe.
Yeah, got 2 on the clock is what they did, yep. That's now Cheap trying to figure this out. I believe there shouldn't be a running clock because they got the
as soon as they snap it.
There he goes, the snap, Cheap, back to pass, under pressure from Wormy. He's got to scramble out to the far side. Still looking to pass, still looking. Finally, he's going to send one towards the end zone, and that's incomplete. Came up a bit short of the end zone. Almost picked off by the Bulldogs, and that will do it for the ball game. So on homecoming, unfortunately, the Boomers fall 28-14 to the Cache Bulldogs. Cache going to be 2-2 now on the season and go 1-0 in district play. The Boomers 0-4, and they will start out 1-0 or 0-1, excuse me, in district play. With that, we'll step aside for a break and come back and get to your post game. You're listening to Boomer Football on Z92.
Sweet.